This video covers chapter 181 to 210. For previous chapters, please check our playlist or search on the channel. Chapter 180, The Final Showdown, Yuvs Camus. 3 more, please subscribe. Chapter 180, The Final Showdown, Yuvs Camus. 3 more, please subscribe. Now, Yu and Camus, please come on stage. Everyone held their breath as the Grand Priest was announced. In fact, everyone understands that the final winner can only be produced between these two people, because the strength gap between them and others is too great. Yu took off his sports jacket, revealing his strong muscles, and Camus also put down his cane and then came to the ring. As these two players joined the battle, the wind seemed to have become a little more bleak, and many people couldn't help shivering. Grand Priest said, "Considering that players Yu and Camus are really too strong, everyone please back off immediately." With a wave of his hand, the auditorium receded towards the endless void at the fastest speed. The angels of each universe take out their wands and begin live broadcasting the match. Yu said, "I've never really enjoyed fighting." Camus said, "Me too, because I've never met a 22-hand opponent good enough to fight." Yu asked, "Are we similar?" Camus said, "So this battle is unique and worth betting on our most precious things, don't you think?" "What are you betting on?" "Gamble your life." Yu felt his heart beating violently, and the boiling blood spread along his veins to all parts of his body. He took a deep breath and said, "What a wonderful proposal." White's blazing flame was ignited, and in a trance, Yu came to that messy world again. There, the last consciousness of One Punch Man still sat upright. He looked at Yu and said, "Why are you here again?" Yu said, "I have come to fulfill your wish. I have found an enemy who is truly capable of fighting." After finishing speaking, Yu stretched out his hands to those chains on his body, and then tore them off completely. One Punch Man laughed, a heroic laugh. "Then let's fight the battle and tell the best stories in the blood." That is not chi, nor is it pure energy. No one can tell what the blazing flame is, because no one has reached such a state except Yu and Camus. 2 fiery rays of light shone in the void, and the moment Yu and Camus roared, the arena was turned into nothingness. In such a battle, the so-called arena itself has no meaning. The flames were like hair, floating above the heads of the two of them. From their eyes, there was only endless light. Camus's muscles bulged, and he tore his monk's robe to pieces and said to Yu, "Are you ready?" "Then come on." The two raised their fists and waved to each other at the same time. An unprecedented shock instantly swept across the endless realm of nothingness. Although everyone had already fled to a distant place, they were still completely shaken. When everyone woke up from the muddle and looked at the screens of the angels again, everyone lost their voices at that moment. At the place where the fists of the two people met, countless energies spewed out, and then gathered together and gradually cooled down. In the end, these energies formed patches of galaxies and planets. Gohan said, "My God, this is this the origin of the world?" Before being a warrior, Gohan was first and foremost a scholar. In the concept of physics, the universe originated from an explosion of energy on an unprecedented scale. When this energy gradually cooled, galaxies and worlds were formed. At this moment, the strength of the two powerhouses has truly reached the point where the world was created. Endless energy flowed between them. Yu clenched his fist, then looked at the new world around him and said, "I never thought that my full blow could create such a beautiful scene." Camus said, "I think so too, but it's not enough." After saying that, the two rushed towards each other for the second time. This time, without the reminder from the Grand Priest, everyone spontaneously fled frantically to a more distant place. The battle between Yu and Camus started completely. Every collision between the two will bring a terrible shock. The energy of the explosion forms a sphere, which continues to expand in the void. Perhaps after hundreds of millions of years, a brand new world will appear there. A world bigger and vaster than the world of Dragon Ball. Zeno stood up from his chair, with excited little stars in his eyes. The bald devil and Camus are really amazing, and the light is really beautiful. In the past, when Zeno spoke, everyone would listen carefully, but this time, no one jumped out to answer his exclamation. Because at this moment, everyone is witnessing a myth. Seeing such power, Jiren asked in a daze, "Do I really have a chance to defeat Chi-Yu?" Vermut said, "I can only take your words as a joke." This is the power of despair. 847 is the ultimate in the extreme. While everyone was shocked by the scene of the battle, the enthusiasm of Chi-Yu. Chapter 181. The man behind the scenes is the Grand Priest. For more, please subscribe. Chapter 181. The man behind the scenes is the Grand Priest. For more, please subscribe. Super Killer Series, ~~ Super Serious Punch, ~~ Chi-Yu let out a roar, and his fist was firmly inserted into Camus' chest. Camus spat out a mouthful of blood because of this, and the severe pain stimulated his nerves like a stimulant, making Camus' emotions even hotter. He grabbed Chi-Yu's arm before he could retract it, and then hit Chi-Yu's abdomen with his knee. The huge impact pushed the two of them apart, and the battle paused briefly. Not enough ~~, not enough ~~. Such voices echoed in their souls, and the blood seemed to turn into burning gasoline, boiling in their chests. Chi-Yu raised his hands, arousing all his strength again. Super Killing Series, ~~ consecutive super serious punches, ~~. Sprint Meteor Shower, ~~. Camus' 10 fingers continuously shot out destructive Qigong cannons, while Saitama resisted Camus' attack with his body, punching Camus' body one after another. Countless light years away, in the auditorium of the selection conference, Gods of Destruction Champa suddenly screamed. Look at their faces. When everyone noticed the expressions of the two of them carefully, they realized that the two of them were actually laughing heartily. Simba murmured, "It's like a monster." Ivan said, "It's not like, such existences are no different from monsters. Because they are so powerful, they will be happy to meet their opponents in this vast world." Gradually, the battle between Chi-Yu and Camus calmed down. It can be seen that one of Chi-Yu's arms has been broken, and he is struggling feebly. And Camus's sternum is sinking, and he is constantly vomiting Red's blood. Camus collapsed in the void and said, "Why are you getting stronger and stronger? I suppressed you to fight at the beginning. It's really scary. You are still making progress after reaching this level ~~." At this point, Chi-Yu probably understood what was going on. Because of taking down the limiter, Chi-Yu is equivalent to having a body without limits, unless the opponent can kill him with a single punch, otherwise the squeeze will continue to improve. Chi-Yu held his broken arm and said, "Someone told me about this before. It seems that I can really become stronger with the battle. **emenit, after I win you, I'm afraid I'll never find you again. No more opponents, but I will remember this battle today and forever, Camus, I won." "Yeah, you won. Congratulations, new Zeno." "No, I actually won." At this moment, a voice sounded in everyone's mind. It was the voice of Grand Priest. Everyone looked up to the stands, and at an unknown time, Grand Priest's hand had already pierced Zeno's chest and pulled out a gold sphere from it. Until the end, Zeno still had a confused expression on his face and just fell down in front of the throne. Ivan said angrily, "Grand Priest, do you know what you are doing? You have betrayed your duty." Grand Priest put the gold orb into his chest and said, "Responsibilities are important, but compared to Zeno's power, these are insignificant." Ivan said, "You have been serving Zeno around. Why did you not do it until now?" Grand Priest stretched out his hand, and a vast force came from him. Everyone seemed to be pulled by an invisible force, and quickly arrived in front of Chi-Yu and Camus, who were already seriously injured. Grand Priest pointed to Camus, who was vomiting blood, and said, "It is because of this person, Camus of your first universe. His power has surpassed the limit that Master Zeno can interfere with. Even if I have the power of Zeno, it may not be possible you can really control the world. But I was very lucky, and I actually waited for a second person like him." After saying that, Grand Priest turned his gaze to Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu said, "So you planned this match just to make us both lose?" Grand Priest said, "Chi-Yu, you look like you don't care about anything, but in fact you are the smartest. I have worked hard to hide it from you. Now that you have lost your fighting power, it is up to me to do it for you." You are done, you are people who should not have appeared in this world, so it is not worth pity. Chi-Yu stood up and said, Do you think you won? Starred, I have to tell you one thing, I don't like being cheated the most. After finishing speaking, Chi-Yu punched Grand Priest. But the all-powerful fist didn't work this time. Grand Priest held Chi-Yu's fist and said, After gaining the power of Xeno, I am no longer the same person I used to be. And you are so weak now, how can you be my opponent? Go to hell tilde tilde tilde. After saying that, Grand Priest kicked Chi-Yu hard in the stomach. Chi-Yu's body suddenly turned into a meteor, colliding with Camus. We can't let such an evil guy take away Xeno's power. Let's go together tilde tilde. Ivan yelled like a Grand Priest and rushed over. Then the Grand Pry. Chapter 182 Eliminate Grand Priest, New Journey / amp, quot 1 piece. / amp quot. 5 more, please subscribe. Chapter 182 Eliminate Grand Priest, New Journey / amp, quot 1 piece. / amp quot. 5 more, please subscribe. Camus is not a person's name, but a title, which represents the person who inherits Camus power. The first universe has existed since the birth of the world, and the most talented warriors have accumulated their power generation after generation, and Camus is what it is today. This kind of power can be inherited and gifted, and now, this generation of Camus wants to give this power to Chi-Yu. Camus said angrily, This is the last chance, promise me, and help me take care of the first universe in the future. The reason why Camus is still alive now is entirely supported by the chi in his body. If this power is given to Chi-Yu, then Camus is really dead. Super Shenron can't play tricks on strong people like Chi-Yu and Camus, even if they copy a body. It is an incomplete fake. Chi-Yu had already tried this point when he was a dark man. In other words, once Chi-Yu accepts, Camus will die forever. The Grand Priest who was in the distance had already shifted his gaze to Kay. Chi-Yu had no choice at this moment, so he nodded and said, Do you have any other last words? Camus means dedication. I hope you will treat this power kindly in the future. 407. Camus took out a red-gold ball of light from his body. The shape of the ball was similar to Xeno's, but it was slightly smaller. Immediately afterwards, Camus pressed it into Chi-Yu's body. Goodbye, my friend. After that, Camus closed his eyes. At this moment, everyone is desperate. Grand Priest was originally the second most powerful person in the entire universe, and now that he has gained the power of Xeno, all the people present may not be able to withstand his elimination once. Perhaps the reason why Grand Priest kept them was just to use the fear of slowly killing them to experience the joy of being omnipotent. Quite a few people were cursing angrily, but they were really angry, the happier the Grand Priest was. At this moment, Zhang Blue's face was already filled with a terrifying grin. Vegeta closed his eyes, and like everyone in the 7th universe, he had completely given up. At this moment, Kay suddenly exclaimed, Look, it's Lord Chi-Yu tilde tilde tilde. Grand Priest turned his head to look, and sure enough, he saw Chi-Yu transforming into a beiging-colored streamer, CCFC star, flying towards this side. Grand Priest, die for me tilde tilde tilde. You still don't give up, you idiot. Grand Priest turned his head and reached out his hand to grab Chi-Yu's fist, but the huge force from his hand made Grand Priest's face change drastically. His body was blown away by Chi-Yu's punch and flew into the endless void. However, Chi-Yu was not ready to let him go, and rushed towards Grand Priest again. Vegeta, who opened his eyes, broke out in a cold sweat and said, It's the bald-headed devil and he's resurrected. It's Chi-Yu. It's the great demon king Chi-Yu tilde tilde. Kill him, kill this despicable fellow. Only Simba murmured, not only the bald devil but also Camus. As Camus' original heir, he can certainly feel the power of Chi-Yu. At this time, Chi-Yu's huge aura had merged with Camus's inheritance. Although he was seriously injured, his strength was unprecedentedly strong. The people who survived the catastrophe shouted for Chi-Yu one after another. Grand Priest stabilized his body. At this time, half of his face had been smashed by Chi-Yu. Seeing Chi-Yu flying again, he roared in disbelief. This is simply outrageous. Why did your strength become so strong? Go to the afterlife and ask, you sinister villain. I can't be defeated by you. I still have the power of Xeno tilde tilde. Grand Priest also sent the biggest Kai blast ever to Chi-Yu, preparing for the final battle of trapped beasts. Chi-Yu's eyes were blood red, and he let out a final roar. Final kill series, desperate punch tilde tilde tilde. Under Chi-Yu's fist, Grand Priest's Kai blast was about to collapse, and that fist hit Grand Priest unstoppably. Amidst the endless energy, Grand Priest's body was gradually decomposed, shattered, and finally turned into fly ash and disappeared. Then the sphere of light that contained Xeno's power was revealed. The ball of light flew around and finally sank into Chi-Yu's body. Baldhead Demon King tilde tilde tilde. Master Chi-Yu tilde tilde tilde. Chi-Yu tilde tilde tilde. Those calling voices were gradually moving away from him. In a trance, Chi-Yu saw a beautiful figure in black and followed him into the boundless light. Immediately after, Chi-Yu didn't know anything. The day was sunny, and the Golden Mary, as usual, was floating in the first half of the Great Voyage. On the deck, Luffy is sleeping with a straw hat on, Luo Bing is reading a book, and Zoro is waving that exaggerated barbell. Suddenly, there was a loud noise from the sky, and a bald young man fell from the sky and smashed into the deck. Chapter 183, One Piece World. One more please subscribe. Chapter 183, One Piece World. One more please subscribe. Where is this? Chi-Yu opened his eyes, and the first thing he saw was a small furry face. It had a gray face, a cute hat, and 2 antlers. Ah, he's awake. The reindeer-like animal actually spoke. Chi-Yu numbly got up from the ground, only to realize that he was on a dilapidated boat, and a pirate flag with a straw hat was tied to the mast of the boat, which looked very funny. This scene seems a bit familiar. Chi-Yu rubbed his head, but it was still naked. At this time, a group of people suddenly surrounded him. Hey, where did you come from? Suddenly fell from the sky and smashed my boat. A boy with a scar on his face and a straw hat came over. FK, you are Lu 347 fly. Chi-Yu was confused. Isn't this the protagonist Luffy in One Piece? In the battle between myself and Grand Priest, I was shot out of the Dragon Ball universe and ran to the world of One Piece. And met the Straw Hats. How do you know my name? Luffy scratched his head and grinned. Could it be that I, the future One Piece, have become so famous that even strangers know it? Ha ha ha. Snapped. Nami on the side gave Luffy a shudder. Don't be so stinky, Captain. Let's find out his life experience first. This guy is very suspicious. I have never seen such a bright head. Liabu, Zoro and others also surrounded him, staring at Chiya's head. How did his head grow, and why doesn't he have a single hair? It's strange, this head can be used as a light bulb. Maybe it can be used as a mirror. We still lack a cleaner on board, maybe we can keep him. There was a lot of discussion. And Chi-Yu finally recovered from the trance at this time. As the saying goes, if you survive a catastrophe, you must have future blessings. Unexpectedly, he came to the world of One Piece, and this time he can embark on a new journey. It's just a pity for Tacy and the others. I don't know how they are doing in the Dragon Ball world. The Grand Priest has been wiped out by me, leaving only Beerus and others. They should be able to control the situation. When I recover my strength, maybe they will be able to control the situation. You can go back and get them. After speaking, Yu shook his fist. Suddenly, I found that my strength had dropped a lot. His previous violent power that could shake the universe has been sealed again by the chains in his body. And what he can use now is probably only the power of Saitama's peak in One Punch Man. That is equivalent to the level of Super Saiyan 2. But the only difference is that Chi-Yu can still mobilize the chi in his body, and he can control the use of chi, even in this One Piece world with different rules from the Dragon Ball universe. That is, his chi is much weaker than the original oppression. After all, this is the world of One Piece, and there is no such thing as chi. Even if my strength has dropped significantly, my current strength alone is enough to crush everyone in the world of One Piece. I want to see what the so-called treasure of One Piece is. It might be good to destroy the world government, by the way. Chi-Yu squeezed his fist and smiled faintly. What he said to himself fell into the ears of others, but it caused a burst of laughter. Hey, did you hear that? This guy said he wants to destroy the world government. He has bigger ambitions than us pirates. Liar Boo exaggerated. It's broken, did we pick up a fool? His brain should be burned out, I'll continue to treat him. Chopper ran over and said with concern. Ha ha ha, this bald head is even more bragging than me. Although I, Luffy, aspire to become the pirate king in the future, I never thought of overthrowing the world government. Luffy also looked disbelieving. Even Robin, who has been reading a book calmly, couldn't help but look at Chi-Yu. Obviously, everyone didn't believe Chi-Yu's words. And Chi-Yu stood up, looking at the endless sea with a smile on the corner of his mouth. This world is really good, there are more capable people than imagined, but I don't know who can block my punch. In addition, I heard that there are many girls in the world of One Piece, and Nami and Robin are good, so I will stay here with the Straw Hats for a while. He said these words to himself. Seeing that the bald man didn't say a word, Luffy got a little angry. Hey, do you have a name? Where did you come from? What's your name? What specialties do you have? If not, I will throwing you overboard. We don't want waste on board the Golden Mary. My name is Chi-Yu, and I come from a very far away place. As for my specialty, my strength is very strong, does it count? Chi-Yu turned around, looked at Luffy and the others, and said lightly. Chi-Yu, very strong, do you have any evidence to prove it? I don't like braggarts. Luffy looked at Chi-Yu suspiciously. Nami rolled her eyes. Chapter 184, Exploding the Sea Train with One Punch. 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 184, Exploding the Sea Train with One Punch. 2 more, please subscribe. Woo woo woo. In the nick of time, they finally returned the melee, and the sea train that was emitting white smoke roared past them quickly. What the hell, there are trains on the sea? Luffy and the others were stunned, but the shape was indeed a train. Oops, there's a freestyle frog in front of the train. It's dead this time. Others couldn't help but exclaimed when they saw a huge frog lying in the water in front of the train. At this time, they also noticed that there was suddenly one person missing from the boat. Where did that bald head go? Didn't he run away? My gosh, there he is. What? When did he go to the frog? Everyone looked at Chi-Yu, standing on the water, and screamed. Fast, too fast. Everyone never found out when Chi-Yu got off the boat, let alone how Chi-Yu managed to stay on the water without sinking. At this time, Chi-Yu looked at the sea train rushing towards him, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Take your 22 to test how much power I can exert in this world. After speaking, Chi-Yu punched out. Common punch. Rumble. With a loud noise, the entire sea train completely detached from the track. The huge inertia caused the tail of the sea train to tilt high, and the extremely strong front of the train was directly sunken in. Click, click, click. Thick black smoke rose from around the train. The sea train is directly scrapped. Wow, monster. The Straw Hats were stunned. What did they see? A human being exploded a sea train tens of meters long. Is this too exaggerated? Chi-Yu, on the other hand, was very dissatisfied with the damage she caused. It seems that my strength still hasn't recovered. Although I only used 1% of my strength, the destructive power is pitifully small. It seems I may be too hungry. Shaking his head, a dazzling group of Kai Blast appeared directly in Chi-Yu's palm. Rumble. A huge mushroom cloud rose across the sea level. The powerful Kai Blast blasted the sea train into pieces in an instant, killing all the unlucky passengers on the train into scum. This incomparable destructive power almost made the whole Straw Hat gang almost scared to pee. Who the hell is this guy? The huge commotion caused by Chi-Yu alarmed the station master of Shift Station, the mermaid Granny Kokoro, her companion Zimini, and the kitten Kunb. Hey, what are you doing there? Zimini, who had a big mouth but painted a very funny red lip, looked at Luffy and the others. But when she saw the pirate flag of the Mary, she exclaimed, Wait, you are pirates. Granny Kikeluo, the pirates are coming. Isn't it a pirate? Make a fuss and bring me my phone bug. Granny Kikeluo, who was awakened by Zimoni's roar, came out of the station master's room leisurely. She was fat, extremely ugly, and she was holding a wine bottle in her hand, drinking while walking, and she looked drunk. As a result, he fell asleep on the ground as soon as he went out. Everyone. What did I want to say just now? I forgot. By the way, are you pirates? We don't have anything to grab at this station. Please go to another place. Granny Kikaluo got up from the ground and said yes, Luffy and others said. But when she looked at the track of the sea train not far away, she was directly stunned. Then, what is that? She saw a bald-headed young man standing on the water, and around him, there were still many broken planks and a big chimney floating. The little girl Camus was also confused. Grandma Kikaluo, that looks like the steam chimney of a sea train. I know it's a chimney. The key is where did the sea train go? Granny Kikaluo panicked. Hey, that monster mother-in-law, I know where the sea train is going. Luffy also felt that Grandma Kikaluo was ugly, so he simply called her monster mother-in-law. Straw Hat Boy, who are you? Me? Hearing Mrs. Kikaluo asked about his name, Luffy raised his head, pointed to the sky with one hand, and introduced himself arrogantly. My name is Luffy, and I am an inspirational man who wants to become the One Piece King in the future. Granny Kikaluo nodded. Well, he is really an interesting big boy. What I want to know is that bald man your companion? He got into a big disaster. This is a sea train, and the cost is extremely expensive. And it is jointly operated by the world government and the shipbuilding company. If he sabotages a sea train, he will be wanted with a huge reward. Luffy scratched his head. He is not our companion yet, we just discovered him. Then you should hurry up and leave here to avoid being wanted by the Navy. Granny Kikaluo waved her hand. Well, Granny Kokoro, do you know where there is a ship repair yard? Our ship needs to be repaired, Luffy asked. Oh, you can go to the capital of water, eh? Chapter 185 Hugging Nami, 1 update, please subscribe. Chapter 185 Hugging Nami, 1 update, please subscribe. You monster, you are more ruthless than us pirates. You killed all the people in that car. I don't want to be with you, a murderer besides. This is my ship, as the captain, I refuse you to join us. Luffy compares to the Holy Mother, and seeing how violent Chi-Yu is, he is a little uncomfortable. I also feel that he is very evil, with a strong murderous aura. Chopper nodded in agreement. This weird guy, he might also be a wanted pirate, right? He looks very fierce. This guy is even more arrogant than me. It's really annoying to watch. The Straw Hats were all upset with Chi-Yu. They are all friends with similar interests, have the same experience, have experienced life and death, and although they are pirates, they are actually kind-hearted. And Chi-Yu is not a good person at first glance. No wonder they are a little bit repelled. I didn't hear what you said. Chi-Yu walked up to Luffy and said lightly. I said, you are an annoying guy, Luffy said with his hips akimbo. He was answered with a loud applause. Snapped. Luffy suffered a severe blow to the face. Even if he was the constitution of the rubber man, he was almost distorted by the blow. The whole person was thrown high into the air and fell straight into the sea. Wow, I can't swim, help. The ability users who ate the devil fruit were all cursed by the sea, and they were all landlubbers. Seeing this scene, the others hurried down to save Luffy. Nami held her weather stick and walked in front of Chi-Yu with a displeased look on her face. Hey, your guy is too unreasonable. Why are you hitting people? Luffy didn't say anything bad. That kid is too noisy. If I didn't kill him, I would have given face to you two beauties on board. Chi-Yu said disapprovingly. HMPH, you're so bad, I don't want to see you either. Nami raised her weather stick and hit Chi-Yu. It's a pity that just as she was waving into the air, the weather stick was caught by someone. Or Chi-Yu. With a slight effort, the weather stick came out of Nami's hand and was held by Chi-Yu. This is the magic weather stick. It looks very common, tilde. Chi-Yu looked at the stick in his hand and curled his lips. You, how dare you say my weather is so common? Nami was so angry that she rushed towards Chi-Yu like a tigress. But what she did was like a sheep entering a tiger's mouth. Chi-Yu just grabbed it, and Nami was hugged by Chi-Yu like a chick. With her soft and delicate body in her arms, and Nami's clothes are very cool at this time, the two of them are almost stuck together. In January, Chi took a deep breath. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. he suddenly became more interested in the world of One Piece. At least, there are quite a lot of girls here. Beastard, what are you holding me for? Let go, I'm going to call for help. Help, help, bald and smelly rascal. Nami called out to her companion at the top of her voice. D*MN, what are you doing to Nami? Let her go. Others reacted one after another. Chopper was the first to bear the brunt, and immediately transformed into a strong human form, waving his big fist and hitting Chi-Yu. Little reindeer, don't be impulsive, I don't want to blow you up by accident. Chi-Yu watched Chopper rushing over to save Nami, pulled out a hand and snapped his fingers. I was caught by an invisible force. Knocked out. I hate guys who are more powerful than me, and I hate B-stards who bully my companions. Go to hell. At this moment, Chi-Yu suddenly had a gust of wind blowing from behind, and the piercing saber energy sliced across the void, chopping down towards Chi-Yu's arm. Ding! A sound like gold and iron clashing sounded. Zoro's katana blade was caught between two fingers by Chi-Yu. Click! Use a little force. A samurai sword of Sauron was easily broken by Chi-Yu, and Chi-Yu snapped his fingers again, and the broken samurai sword blade flew back and pierced into Sauron's shoulder. Sauron clutched his wound, took several steps backwards, and then sat down on the tattered mast wrapped in iron. He looked at Chi-Yu in disbelief. He was severely wounded by his own knife. The opponent just used one move. What kind of power and control is this? This guy is absolutely no ordinary person. Ugly bald head, don't bully my companions, take the trick for me. Glitter baby. Kill Egg Star. Following the words of lying Buusip fell. A burst of dazzling light suddenly appeared on the boat. This is Usopp's usual trick, using flash bombs to make the opponent's eyes shut, and then he can take the opportunity to launch a trick. He put a rotten egg on the slingshot and catapulted towards Chi-Yu. This rotten egg can be said to be extremely stinky. Once hit, it will make people feel sick and vomit, completely losing the desire to fight. Hit at my rotten eggs. Usopp Clen. Chapter 186 Capital of Water, Cp9. 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 186 Capital of Water, Cp9. 2 more, please subscribe. Chi-Yu's fighting power is really terrifying. Although he tried his best to suppress the real power, it was not comparable to these little pirates. Fortunately, he didn't seem to intend to kill anyone. Apart from teaching Luffy and others a profound lesson, he stopped. However, Chi-Yu domineeringly treats Nami as his own personal maid, which annoys Luffy and the others. It's a pity that they can't resist Chi-Yu's despotic power at all. In order to prevent their companions from being killed by the moody Chi-Yu, Nami can only serve Chi-Yu as a hostage in exchange for the safety of the entire crew. In this way, a group of people embarked on the voyage to the water capital. Except that the owner of the melee had been replaced by Chi-Yu, it was quite smooth. After half a day of sailing, the city of water gradually appeared in front of everyone. Wow, so beautiful. Everyone was overwhelmed by the city that appeared in front of them. A perfect water city appeared in front of everyone. The whole city is surrounded by an ocean. The countless regular waterways in the city are like the veins in a flower, making the whole city as beautiful as a flower blooming in the ocean. It's so beautiful. Even Robin and Nami couldn't help looking at the city of water. Ho ho, let's go. Luffy shouted from the bow. The melee slowly entered the water capital. Along the way, the enthusiasm of this city infected everyone, and everyone was filled with laughter, which all showed the youthful vitality of the city. As an emerging island, youth is its greatest joy. From the mouths of the people in this city, it is known that pirate ships are not allowed to park in the port openly. Luffy and others had no choice but to park the Mary in a promontory in the back mountain. However, when the Mary was parked, because Sauron used a little force, the mast of the Mary was broken. Everyone really didn't expect that Mary was so fragile. Zoro, can't you be gentle? The ship is broken and we can only stay here, be-starred. Luffy yelled angrily. Sauron, aye. Luffy punished Sauron for watching the ship. But this guy just sleeps watching the boat, which just satisfies this guy. And Luffy Usopp is going to go to the center of the city to exchange cash for a major repair on the Mary. The rest of the people are going to take a look inside the city. Sanji is going to buy some supplies, Chopper is going to buy some medical books, and Robin proposes to go with him. Let's go, it's time for me to get off the boat, I'm so hungry, I don't have the energy to talk. Chi-Yu put his arms around Nami's waist, ignoring her blushing face, and forcibly took this beauty off the boat. As expected of the City of Water, I like it. There should be a lot of delicious food here. Chi-Yu's body is floating in midair. This is the simplest flying technique in the Dragon Ball world, but in this world, it is amazing great skill. Completely ignoring the gravitational force of the Earth, causing a burst of exclamation from the surrounding audience. Wow, that person is actually flying in the sky. Is he a fairy? The young lady next to him is so charming. Beautiful lady. I've never seen such a beautiful young lady before. Maybe only this kind of beauty is worthy of that bald-headed ability user who can fly. As soon as they landed, Chi-Yu and Nami were surrounded by a group of people. All kinds of words of admiration, and praise reached everyone's ears. Let's go get something to eat. Chi-Yu seemed to ask Nami, but actually didn't consider Nami's answer and opinion at all. He domineeringly pushed through the crowd and walked towards the snack street. CCDD. Seeing those delicious delicacies, Chi-Yu whetted his appetite, and all he wanted to do now was to fill his stomach. He feels so hungry, he could eat a truckload of food. On the other side, Luffy and other members of the pirate group are exchanging coins as planned, just like the original show. Robin and Chopper chose to go straight to the library. There are a lot of people. Chopper turned into reindeer mode, carrying a pile of luggage and following Robin, and said in a cold sweat, "Hee, yes, it's very lively here." The enthusiasm of this city has infected Robin. The shadow in Robin's heart should have dissipated temporarily, so he is still in a happy mood. Wow, what do they do? Looking at all kinds of masked guys on the street, Chopper asked curiously. Oh, I heard that a nearby island, St. Falter, held a masquerade carnival for several days. That's why there are so many people wearing masks. Robin said to Chopper. Wow, a bookstore. Chopper finally saw the bookstore he had dreamed of and ran to the door in no time. Robin looked helplessly at Chopper, who was drooling at the bookstore, so he had no choice but to walk off. Chapter 187 Mayor of Water City, Mr. Bingshan. One update, please subscribe. Chapter 187 Mayor of Water City, Mr. Bingshan. One update, please subscribe. On the other hand, Luffy Usopp finally exchanged the gold harvested from the Sky Island into cash in the center of the water capital. A total of 300 million Baileys, which made them all go crazy with joy. Mary is about to be repaired. Mary is about to be repaired. Luffy and Usopp hummed their own song and headed towards dock number 1. As the swordfish boat moves forward, Luffy and the others came to the gate of number 1 dock. Looking at this decades-high gate, the two of them were shocked. Who are you? A voice appeared behind the two of Luffy. Luffy turned his head and looked, and suddenly exclaimed, Wow, Usopp, how did you run? I went behind. Snapped. Usopp knocked on Luffy's head heavily and said loudly, I'm Usopp, is there something wrong with your eyes? Forehead. Luffy looked at these two guys with long noses, a little confused. So you are not Usopp, then who are you? I'm Kagu, a carpenter from Carrera Company. What can you do? Kagu, a long-nosed man wearing a baseball cap and only showing half of his face, said. It turned out to be a carpenter from the shipyard. Luffy and Usopp exchanged glances. That, we were recommended by someone, and we came here to find Mr. Bingshan. After speaking, Luffy handed the simple letter of recommendation to Kagu. Oh, so it was introduced by Granny Key Keluo at the C-Mobile station. Kagu looked at the two of them. I can inform Mr. Espago for you, but he is not in the office now, but he is a busy man. Is Mr. Bingshan busy? Kagu nodded. Yes, because he is the general manager of Carrera, and one of the creators of the Sea Train, and most importantly, he is also the chief of Water City. Wow, he is the head of the Water City. He seems to have a lot of background. How could the monster mother-in-law know the head? Lu Fei exclaimed. Well, I've roughly read Granny Key Kaluo's letter. Your ship is seriously damaged and needs to be repaired, right? So where is the ship now? Cooler pulled the brim of his hat and said lightly. Over the rocky bay. Very good. As a professional ship repairer, let me help you first, so that we will be ready for repairs when the time comes. Kagu opened his thighs and began to make preparations like a sprint. Wow, what are you doing? Our ship is far away from here, and we need to take Swordfish Blue to get there. Luffy and Usopp looked at Kagu's movements and asked, very puzzled. Ha ha ha, that's too slow. You wait for me for 10 minutes, and I'll go back as soon as I go. Kagu showed a smug smile. Then Kagu turned into an afterimage, while Usopp and Luffy were stunned, and rushed out instantly. Wow, so fast, Luffy's eyes almost popped out. Then something that shocked them even more happened. Kagu jumped from the ground to the sky with the help of a powerful impact, and then flew continuously between buildings, and disappeared in front of them in a few breaths. This, he can fly, it's amazing. Luffy sighed in admiration. At this time, a voice sounded again. Of course, don't underestimate him because he's just a carpenter. The ship repairers in our company are all skilled, and only masters of this level can build those sturdy and durable ships. They are my treasures. Behind the two of Luffy, 2 more people appeared at some point. One is a middle-aged uncle with combed back hair and wearing a striped suit. The other is a female secretary who is dressed hot and sexy. Wow, who are you? Luffy's eyes widened. He instinctively felt that this uncle had an extraordinary background. Who am I? The man in the striped suit laughed, seeming amused by the 2 boys' questions. The female secretary on the side pushed her glasses at this time. Straw Hat Luffy, Pirate Hunter Zoro, Liar Usopp, Nami, Robin. There are 3 people who have a total reward of 239,800 Baileys. They formed a gang in the East China Sea, known as the Straw Hat Gang, owning a pirate ship named Golden Mary, and now there are 7 members. When Usopp heard the female secretary burst out their information, cold sweat broke out on his forehead. How do they know so clearly? Luffy, we have been exposed. Luffy. Ha ha ha, so it is like this. You are pirates, then. Welcome to the City of Water. I am the governor of the City of Water, Escuba. You can also call me Mr. Bingshan. The man in the striped shirt said he didn't show any disgust towards Luffy and the others. Instead, he had a smile on his face. Asking for flowers. You are Mr. Bingshan. Great. Luffy jumped up excitedly. This time our Mary is saved. Mr. Bingshan, please help us cultivate the pirate ship. We have a lot of money. As long as it can be repaired, you can take all the 300 million Baileys. Usopp reached out to bring the 2 boxes of money behind. Chapter 188 Kalifa, 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 188 Kalifa, 2 more, please subscribe. Why is this guy here? Run away. Luffy and Usopp wanted to escape with 3 lockboxes. This guy Chi-Yu didn't follow the rules, and requisitioned their melee without any scruples. But Luffy, the captain, can't resist yet, because they are no match for Chi-Yu together. But this does not mean that Luffy is willing to surrender. After all, he is the man who is going to be the One Piece. Who is this guy? Mr. Bingshan looked at the bareheaded Chi-Yu very curiously. In the world of One Piece, bald heads are rare. However, Lu Chi, Kagu, and Kalifa, who were leading the way, and Kalifa next to Mr. Bingshan, felt an extraordinary aura the moment Chi-Yu stepped into the gate of the dock. This aura, so terrifying. The 3 looked at each other vaguely, feeling Chi-Yu's danger from each other's eyes. They 400 are all masters. Their combat power far exceeds that of common humans, so they are particularly sensitive to the breath of locked targets. In addition, Chi-Yu didn't want to hide his strength at all, so it's normal for them to see some clues. It's just that Lu Chi and the others are still lurking. The task has not been completed, and it is not appropriate to expose the target, so the 3 of them just glanced at Chi-Yu and stopped paying attention to each other. However, Yu is very interested in them. To be precise, he is very interested in Kalifa next to Mr. Bingshan. Hi, can I meet you? My name is Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu walked up to Kalifa. I don't want to know you. Kalifa pushed her glasses. A trace of shame and anger flashed in her eyes. Chi-Yu waved his hand and said cheekily, No, how can this be counted? I'm just talking upright, okay? I don't know if you are free tonight. I want to treat you to dinner and talk about life and life. Ideal or something, you shouldn't mind, right? Mean. Shameless. Dirty. Nami and Kalifa uttered these words in unison, while the others were overwhelmed by Chi-Yu's shameless spirit. This guy is better than a cook. Luffy wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Yeah, the cook is at least a gentleman. This guy wants to get close to a woman when he sees it. It's really shameless. Has our Nami been murdered? If that happens, the cook will die of grief, Yuzop said. Carrying 2 boxes of money, he hid in the corner with Luffy and whispered. Kalifa is not good at attacking Chi-Yu, because she is acting as a secretary now. Therefore, for Chi-Yu's teasing, he could only grit his teeth and fight back. I hate those half-hearted guys the most, not to mention, I don't like bald heads. Kalifa's words can be said to be very heart-wrenching. Chi-Yu's baldness is a part of his constitution, and he can't grow his hair back no matter what, which is his flaw. Being scarred by Kalifa, Chi-Yu was not angry, but replied with a smile. It doesn't matter if you don't like baldness, as long as I like you. How about it, Ms. Kalifa? I want you to work for me. I really like a professional secretary like you. Chi-Yu felt that it would be a good scene to snatch Kalifa and become his secretary in the future. Hey, have you guys forgotten my existence? Beastard. I'm the majestic head of the City of Water. Is it really okay for you bald head to poach my corner so openly? A certain iceberg that was ignored by others let out a long breath and jumped into a rage. Oh, you are Commander Shi. I heard that your shipbuilding technology is top-notch here. I wonder if you can help me build a big ship. Chi-Yu wants to get a big and comfortable boat as a mobile palace for his future trips, and then put all the beauties he has collected on the boat and watch the thieves seduce their eyes. Bingshan looked at Chi-Yu and frowned. Our Carrera company accepts all orders for custom-made large ships, but if you want a strong and fast ship, you have to pay a lot of money. 300 million berries should be enough, right? I want a large, comfortable, and fast boat. Are you sure? You can rest assured that our boatmen are the most skilled in the world. We can customize boat bugs of various sizes for customers, Bingshan said confidently. Chi-Yu nodded. Very well, I need a warship powered by steam. What? Bingshan was surprised when he heard Chi-Yu's words. Warships powered by steam. He has never thought about this, you know. He only built a sea train with his teacher back then. Why hadn't he thought of using steam to power ships? I'm afraid it's very difficult. With my elite boatmen, the common ship can be built in less than a month. But to put the steam engine on the ship, it takes a lot of time to study and test. It will be successful in 2 months. Bingshan frowned, feeling a great challenge. Forget it, the technology tree of this world is a bit deviated, and I can't make what I want at all. It would be great if Bulma was here, alas. Chapter 189 Destroy Government Officials. One update, please subscribe. Chapter 189 Destroy Government Officials. One update, please subscribe. Just then, Peebly, a forging pulley worker from the shipbuilding company, came in and reported to Bingshan. Mr. Bingshan, there are people looking for you at the door. It seems to be people from the world government. Do you want to drive them out? Bingshan frowned. Forget it, just tell them I'm not here. Peebly nodded and was about to turn around to drive away the government officials in black suits, but this group of people came uninvited. Ha, Mr. Bingshan, you are indeed here. Gachai, a world government official with a scarred face and looking like a hawk dog, walked in with a smile. Bingshan, it's Jackie, sorry, I'm not here today. Gachai rolled his eyes. Are you a child? You are here obviously. Don't make such silly jokes. I came all the way to look for you by sea train. How could you turn me away outside? As he spoke, he thought about the iceberg and walked past. Suddenly, he took a sharp sniff. Oh, I seem to smell pirates. Do you hide pirates here? Bingshan hugged her hands with disgust on her face. 22, it's none of your business. Get the hell out of here. I hate you guys. Gachai, you are such a childish temper. Forget it. I know you are such a stubborn person. But this time I have brought you good news. Let's find a secret place to talk about things. This time this matter is of vital importance not only to the world government, but also to you. Oh, what is it? I want to know too. A curious voice suddenly sounded from beside the two of them. Looking back, it turned out to be Chiyu. And Luffy and Nami, who were hiding in the woodpile behind him, stared at the squeeze with their eyes wide open. This guy, that is a member of the world government, what is he doing out now? Who are you? Oh, I smell pirates. Are you with those two pirates? As soon as Gachai's hooked nose sniffed, he realized that Chiyu should have been with pirates. Wonderful, your nose is really sharper than a dog. Chiyu couldn't help but praise. Jichi's face was angry. Hey, you're praising me, not mocking me. You can call it a compliment. There is a saying in my hometown called Imperial Eagle Dog, which means a loyal subordinate who works for the government. Your temperament fits the word very well. Chiyu couldn't help laughing. HMPH, we have important things to do now. You better get out of here, you bald man. Otherwise, we will arrest you for obstructing official duties and colluding with pirates. Gachai looked at Chiyu coldly and said, It's not that easy to get me out. You haven't said any big secret yet. I guess it's related to Mr. Bingshan and some kind of ancient weapon, right? Chiyu smiled and looked at Bingshan. What? As soon as this word came out. Whether it was Jackie or Bingshan, or Lu Chi and the others who were hiding their identities, they all trembled. This guy, how could he know such a thing? D*** a minute, we might be exposed early. Lu Chi said to Kagu in a low voice. Kalifa beside Bingshan also noticed something was wrong. As Bingshan's assistant, she has been looking for clues about ancient weapons all these years, but Bingshan has never revealed her feat. There are ancient weapon design blueprints on the iceberg. This is news that even their world government keeps very secret. How can a bald head know it? What is the origin of this bald head? Why are you looking at me like this? Isn't it an ancient weapon? I heard that it has the power to destroy a city with a single shell. It sounds very interesting. Why don't you show me the blueprint? Chiyu put his hands in his pockets and said indifferently, You beastard, what the hell are you talking about? Gachai was shocked when he heard that Chiyu knew so much about the design blueprint of this ancient weapon. This is something the world government is determined to obtain. As long as they can get this ancient weapon, they can end the era of great pirates ahead of schedule. This secret must not be known by the common people. Therefore, they became murderous almost instantly. You know too much, go to hell with me. Gachai pulled out his pistol in an instant and slapped Chiyu with a barrage of bullets. His men are not slow either. 3 or 5 pistols fired a volley, and the dense bullets poured out. The average person could not dodge at all and could only resist. But Chiyu just stood there and didn't move at all. Everyone only saw his palm waving a few times. Then he caught all the fired bullets in his hands. The power of this thing is too weak. Unless you make that ancient weapon, it might be worth seeing. Chiyu shook his head and spread his palms. Dozens of bright yellow bullets just lay in the palm of his hand. Boom, boom, boom. As Chiyu tilted his palm, the bullets slipped out of his fingers and fell to the ground. Such fast to live. Chapter 190 people can go, leave money and head, 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 190 people can go, leave money and head, 2 more, please subscribe. Kalifa and Bingshan on the side were shocked by the bald head's random punch. Although they thought the bald head was very strong, it was really beyond their imagination. This time the matter is serious. The officials of the world government died in my dock. There will be more government officials to be held accountable. Maybe people from some secret agencies will also come to investigate. Then you will not be able to escape gone. Bingshan frowned when he saw Chiyu jumping up to kill someone. But no matter what Kalifa beside him looked at, Bingshan seemed to be gloating, and it seemed that he also hated those government officials very much. Bingshan was puzzled. This bald man, who are you? Why do you even know about ancient weapons? Chiyu put his hands behind his back and sighed. Who am I? I used to have nothing, but now I have achieved nothing. I am who I am, and I can see myself. Crowd. Just kidding. By the way, I heard that you have the blueprint. I wonder if you can show it to me. I'm curious about the ancient weapon that can destroy a city with one shot. Chiyu stretched out his hand and said to Bingshan, No, I don't know where this blueprint is. It's not on me. Bingshan repeatedly denied it. However, I think with your ability, the ancient weapons are probably just for display in front of you. Bingshan patted Chi-Yu's flattery a little. Haha, yeah, I think so too. Chi-Yu nodded in agreement. This is not bragging, he is just like that. Who called him Chi-Yu? Since you don't have blueprints on you, let's forget it, let's go. Chi-Yu passed by Bingshan, glanced at Kalifa frivolously, with a hint of evil in the corner of his mouth. Bingshan felt a little bad. Once the word ancient weapons came out of Chi-Yu's mouth, he was already exposed. I am afraid that some people from the world government lurking around him will soon forcibly attack him. He has to go back and think of countermeasures. Having said that, you guys should go quickly. If the Navy comes to arrest you, I will die. Bingshan issued an order to evict guests. That can't be done. You still have to help me build the ship. I won't leave until the ship is ready. But Mr. Bingshan, you should be careful at night. Maybe someone wants to trick you. Chi-Yu smiled and said this unfathomable sentence, then turned around and walked towards the hiding place of Luffy and Nami, then suddenly turned around halfway and saw a flash of light in Kalifa's eyes. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot about our beautiful secretary Kalifa. Don't worry, we will meet again. Then you will become my person. You can't escape, hahaha. Watching the three of Luffy leave, Mr. Bingshan's face changed for a while, and he didn't know what he was thinking. After a while, he seemed to have made up his mind. Kalifa, we can lose it. Okay, my lord. Kalifa turned her head and glanced in the direction of Lu Kikagu, and the two seemingly casually, then quickly followed behind Bingshan and left the dock. Only a few boatmen were left at a loss. Among them, Bari and Peebly didn't know what the ancient weapons they just said meant. Only Lu Chi and Kagu know that Bingshan holds the design blueprint of the ancient weapon Pluto in his hands, and this is what they have been plotting all along. Frankie House. The Frankie family is dedicated to fighting against pirates, and they specialize in robbing pirates. This is a matter of course and quite just in their opinion. The 200 million Baileys, stolen from Yuvs, are enough for them to squander for a long time. Hahaha boss, this time we sent it. Is there 200 million? Yes, exactly 200 million. Hahaha, well done, you guys are amazing. With this money, we can buy things we like. The atmosphere in the hall was very lively. All the demolition workers of the Frank family gathered together. It had been a long time since they had encountered such a huge windfall. Just when Frankie, who was wearing a mask, was about to leave with 2 boxes of money, the door was suddenly blasted open with violence. Give me my money back. Standing outside the door was Yuvs holding a slingshot. His nose was bruised and his face was swollen, and his nose was crooked by the Frankie family. Blood dripped from his face continuously, making him look extremely miserable. It's that trash with a long nose, someone taunted. Why isn't he dead yet? Hahaha, after being beaten up by us, you still dare to come to your door to seek death. A trash who can't even keep his own money. He should be the hottest pirate of the Straw Hat Gang. Tusk tusk, how pitiful. Hearing the crazy ridicule of the Frankie family, Yuvs was trembling all over. He was about to go crazy with anger, accompanied by self-blame and despair. I blame myself for being careless and Chapter 191, Conquering Frankie, 1 update, please subscribe. Chapter 191, Conquering Frankie, 1 update, please subscribe. Huh, are you saying I can't afford pants? Frankie said, turning his head to look at the bald head in front of him. What do you know, my name is Super. Frankie folded his arms and raised his signature move. I think you have too much money and no place to use it, so you should use it to cut your hair. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. The younger brother behind him laughed loudly when he heard Frankie's ridicule. It seems that if I don't teach you a lesson, you really don't know that you are a pervert who can only wear underwear. The bald head clenched his fist and said, Left-handed weapon. Frankie opened his left hand, and the cannonballs fired from his left hand rushed towards Chi-Yu continuously. Preemptive strikes, this truth Frankie has long been. Common punch. Chi-Yu waved a punch lightly, and the shells with explosive energy in front of him were instantly wiped out. Seeing Chi-Yu, who easily diffuses the weapon in his left hand, Frankie was shocked. Frankie Destroyer Cannon. Even though the bald boy in front of him could easily disarm his left weapon, he still didn't scare him off. This is Frankie's most powerful move so far. He is very confident in his own ability, and he is 120% sure that he can kill the bald head in front of him, so he can't help but smile. Boom! The shell hit Chi-Yu's body, sweeping up a huge cloud of dust. 617, haha, silly X, let you laugh at me, you will laugh at me again this time. Seeing this, Frankie couldn't hide his inner joy and laughed. What are you laughing at, you guy who can't afford pants? Said a voice from a figure vaguely seen in the dust. Why are you all right? He knows the energy of the Frankie destroyer cannon. When manufacturing it, he referred to various blueprints and did countless experiments before he made the tracking cannonball with library capabilities. Although tracking requires running and tracking, the shells fired can flatten a small hillside. How can this not surprise him? With a wave of Chi-Yu's hand, the dust disappeared without a trace. When he saw the Frankie destroyer cannon that could flatten hills, he didn't feel the slightest bit of emotion. He didn't even bother to hide or raise his hand. After all, these things can't do him any harm. This is his confidence in his own strength. Common punch. Chi-Yu punched out again. Frankie felt like he had been hit by a bomb. He was directly blasted out. And what's worse, his Frankie house was instantly destroyed and razed to the ground by Chi-Yu's powerful Kai blast impact. In the distance, CCD Frankie, who was hit by Chi-Yu, spat out a mouthful of blood. His modified body in front of him was completely dented by the beating, if he wasn't a cyborg. That blow just now could have killed him. Despite this, the current Frankie has completely lost his combat effectiveness, and is as weak as a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. When the younger brothers of the Frankie family saw this scene, they were all stunned, and their jaws dropped to the ground. Their omnipotent boss was knocked out by this strange bald man. What kind of terrifying power is this? Is this too exaggerated? Clatter, clatter. Chi-Yu casually walked up to Frankie and spoke condescendingly. But, D*MN, why is your strength so powerful? And your body, is it also made of steel? Why can't my artificial human body resist your punch? Is it an artificial human who is more advanced than me? Artificial man? Chi-Yu revealed a trace of disdain when he heard this word. I have indeed heard of artificial man before, but they are much stronger than you. With one blow, even the entire planet can be destroyed. What kind of artificial man are you? At most, it is a rotten cabbage, vulnerable to a single blow. Do you still want to fight? Chi-Yu was a little impatient. Robin and the Cp9 group should be ready to attack the iceberg, and I have to solve this matter quickly. At least, the two beauties can't just let them run away. Having experienced those things in the Dragon Ball world, Chi-Yu's mentality has changed a little. With his status, he was destined to be a prodigal son, destined to be a lonely family. If the world of One Piece is blown up by him, what should he do? So having fun in time is the most important thing. As long as you're cool enough. Those girls can't be let go. It should be very good to let them be my maids. Think of it as a vacation at sea. Chi-Yu is holding this idea, fighting every day in the world of Dragon Ball. It is a bit too boring. Now the world of One Piece is taking a break for a while, and continues to fight. I admit defeat, surrender. Frankie, who was knocked to the ground by Chi-Yu, was very unwilling. His self-esteem is very strong, and being defeated by a punch made him feel ashamed. But if he continued to resist, I'm afraid this terrifying bald-headed demon. Chapter 192, Stupid Woman, 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 192, Stupid Woman, 2 more, please subscribe. The people in the room started arguing, as if they had eaten gunpowder. At this time, Nami, Cook, Chopper, and Zoro, who just got off the Golden Mary and were about to look for Robin, were surrounded by a group of people. Hey, pirates, how dare you show up here? Do you really think our shipyard is deserted? Bari pointed at us angrily and shouted, You were the ones who sneaked into Mr. Bingberg's office and attacked him last night. Nonsense, why are we doing that? Nami yelled angrily. How dare you say no? The sober Mr. Bingberg clearly remembered that there were 2 people who attacked him. We asked the government and found out that one of them was your companion Nicole Robin. in order to prevent you from continuing to threaten Mr. Bingberg. We have no choice but to clean you up because those who threaten Mr. Bingshan are enemies of our entire 17 water capital. Nami's face turned blue in an instant. You be, Stards, don't talk nonsense if you don't know what Robin is like. She wouldn't do that kind of thing. A melee. Under the big moves of Sauron and the cook, the large number of boatmen who surrounded them were all swept away, knocked out. The others took the opportunity to break through and return to the Golden Mary. The primordial strange thing happened. Everyone is a little confused. It can be said that they are at a loss. Moreover, this incident is obviously related to the missing Robin, because they heard the words Robin's accomplice from the boatmen. Robin is missing, and we haven't found anyone yet. It's too bad luck. Mr. Bingshan was attacked at night just after talking to us during the day. It seems that this incident has something to do with Robin. What should we do this time? It seems that they have shifted the responsibility to us. Could this be an enemy conspiracy? I figure if the iceberg isn't dead, it means they missed yesterday, or they haven't found what they wanted. Then they will definitely show up again tonight. Robin probably will too, so let's take a good rest now, and we will go to the room of the iceberg at night, and we will definitely know something. After some discussions, everyone finally came up with a countermeasure. As the current titular owner of the Golden Merly, Chi-Yu sat in the bow of the ship calmly eating and drinking without saying a word. Frankie served him tea and water like a servant, with great care. Hey, Master Chi-Yu, don't you have anything to say? Our companion Robin has been taken away. We must rescue her. Luffy looked at Chi-Yu and expressed doubts. That woman is like an idiot. She always pretends to be smart and innocent. She deserves to be taken away. It's better to let her suffer first. Hey, this meat is really good. Chi-Yu bit off a big belly in one bite, and his mouth was full of oil. How can you say that about Robin? She actually has a very kind heart, you cold-blooded devil. Nami said angrily as she stood up and put her hands on her hips. Kindness and stupidity don't conflict. Also, you woman dare to challenge my majesty, you are finished. Chi-Yu glanced at Nami domineeringly. Immediately, the latter felt a burning sensation all over her body, and even half of her shoulder strap was burned off by an invisible air. Ah! With sharp eyes and quick hands, Nami quickly grabbed the shoulder strap and ran into the cabin. Everyone was dumbfounded. What a perverted guy. One glance can make people feel uncomfortable. How strong is he? The capital of water, the home of Xichang. It was getting dark gradually, and almost all the citizens had already left Bingshan's house. After all, the big typhoon and water gods were coming. However, everyone in the shipyard still stood guard in Bingshan's yard with open fire and refused to leave. Lu Chi, Kagu, Bari, and several other big boatmen stood guard at the door. The powerful man Testin on the far left said loudly, "What did you call Bari in so late to say? Could it be a last word?" Lu Chi, the pigeon man sitting next to him, punched him in the face. "Testin, what nonsense are you beastard?" At this time, Kagu also asked strangely, "What is it that asks him to go in alone at this time?" Asking for flowers. Pibri, whose hair always curled up, said, "It must be something important. Let's stay away from the door." In the room of the iceberg. Suddenly something like a door opened on the wall, and two people came out from behind the door. I saw the first person was tall, wearing a panda mask. Followed by a slim woman, it is Nico Robin. The two walked quickly to Bingshan's bed and asked, "How about it? Have you thought about it? Where's that thing?" Bingshan looked at him in surprise and said, "I knew you would definitely come tonight, but I didn't expect it to be this way. You also came in like this last night." Chapter 193 Cp9 Assembled. One update, please subscribe. Chapter 193 Cp9 Assembled. One update, please subscribe. Just when Robin was pressing Bingshan, three terrifying figures with masks walked in from the door. They are Lu Chi and others who have dealt with all the guards outside the door. Cuckoo! A white dove suddenly flew to the shoulder of one of the bull-masked men. You guys, seeing this scene, Bingshan thumped in his heart and suddenly had a bad premonition. He already had a certain guess in his heart, and this guess made him a little desperate. It seems that you have already understood that you don't have much time to live anyway. Then, let you die by 10 o'clock. As he spoke, he took off his mask. Bingshan's extremely familiar face appeared. It is his most trusted boatman Lucci. The other 3 people from June 20 also took off their hoods one after another. The 3 are Kagu, Kalifa, and the bar owner Bruno. I'm really sorry. If possible, I don't want to leave bad memories in this city where I have lived for 5 years. Unfortunately, our time is running out. We have been lurking for 5 years, and the deadline has come. It's Robin who is the only one who can wake up ancient weapons, so I have to do it in advance. Lucci is the nominal commander of this mission, and his combat power is also the highest among the dead. Unexpectedly, the person I trusted the most betrayed me. I regard you as my confidants, but you have been planning for the world government for so long. A bunch of beastards. Betrayal ends badly. Just when his voice fell. However, Lucci kicked him hard on the face, kicking him until his head was covered in blood. It was extremely miserable. Do you think you are still my boss? Pay attention to your attitude. We are the most advanced secret spy organization under the world government, referred to as Cp9. I advise you to obediently hand over the whereabouts of the ancient weapon blueprints. Lucci said indifferently. Bingshan coughed up a puddle of blood and said as if dying, "Isn't the blueprint already in your hands? If you still ask me now, I don't know anything and I won't tell you anything. Kill me if you can." HMPH, how dare you speak hard when you're about to die, and pretend that we don't know that the blueprint is fake. Lucci sneered, spread out the fake blueprint he had snatched from Bari, and continued. It's okay if you don't want to tell us. Anyway, I already have a conjecture that is close to perfection. Now, I just need to verify it. Kagu, go and take the pulse of Mr. Bingshan. Please cooperate with me. Kagu came to Bingshan and began to feel the pulse of Bingshan with his fingers. Lucci began to say slowly, "You have always been very vigilant, and you know that people from the world government have become suspicious of you and have been trying to force you to hand over the design drawings, but you have been making excuses in every possible way. The world government suffers from no evidence, so I have never dared to do anything to you. This time you released the whereabouts of the fake blueprints and wanted us to mistake them for the real ones, but you didn't expect that the people who wanted the blueprints were not people from the world government, but us undercover agents who know you best. 17. And we knew from the beginning that the drawing was fake, but there are some things on the drawing that are true." After speaking, Lucci took out the fake design drawings. On this blueprint, the creator of the design blueprint is signed. There are 3 people in total. One is your teacher, the founder of Tom Studio, one is your Bingshan, and the other is your junior brother Kafra Mew. Not good, Bingshan's eyes widened suddenly. Although he didn't say a word, his heart began to feel anxious, and his pulse began to beat faster. The corner of Lucci's mouth showed a trace of contempt for controlling everything. I heard that Fram ran to the front of the C train to stop the C train after the death of your teacher Tom, but was hit and crushed to death. We have been thought Fram was dead, because how could the common humans fight against the power of the C train? But in the past 4 years, it seems that once a young man in underpants came to you. At this time, Kalifa also took over the conversation. She pushed her glasses and began to recall. Yes, I remember that young man was outside and said he wanted to see you, but you refused him. However, this young man did not leave the city of water. Instead, he bought a small island outside the city and began to break ships. He would often sell some timber to our company's shipyard. Lucci nodded and said with a sneer, "So, it's not surprising that the 2 of you have contact in private. Since you are so confident that we can't find the blueprint, it means that the blueprint has been handed over to someone else by you. That's why you're so fearless." If my predict. Chapter 194 Kalifa and AMP #039S. 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 194 Kalifa and AMP #039S. 2 more, please subscribe. You are the mastermind behind the scenes. D*eminit. When Luffy saw Bruno, a look of shock appeared on his face, and he realized almost instantly that this guy should be the real culprit of the attack. Straw Hat Boy, are you looking for death? Bruno crossed his arms and said disdainfully, D*Amen guy, I'm going to knock you down. Facing the villain, Luffy shot without hesitation. Rubber machine gun. Bang bang bang. As Luffy launched a move attack, countless dense fists hit Bruno. 6 types iron block. Bruno stood there without moving at all. Those fists hit him, but made a dull sound like a block of iron. Wow, it hurts. Why is it completely ineffective? Luffy withdrew his fist, seeing that his attack didn't hurt Bruno at all. His eyes were full of shock. 22, it's my turn now, Lenjiao. Bruno barely gave Luffy a chance to react. A huge sharp knife light shot out from his feet, flying sideways towards Luffy. Wow, what the hell is this? Luffy quickly moved away. A frightening scene happened. The wall behind Luffy was completely cut by Bruno's feet, and the entire wall collapsed. And just when Luffy turned his head back, Bruno continued to move. 6 Styles finger gun. His finger, like an extremely hard spear point, slammed into Luffy's neck. Ordinary people will be pierced through the neck in an instant when encountering this kind of attack, and the artery will be pierced and die on the spot. But Luffy is the rubber man constitution. This kind of damage is ineffective for him. Even if his body is distorted and deformed by the beating, it doesn't matter. Still, Luffy felt like he was almost suffocating. He fell straight on the ground and panted violently. Wow, what kind of move was that just now? It's too powerful. Tusk, the rubber man constitution, is really weird. It won't kill you, forget it. I'm not in the mood to continue fighting with you. I want a quick victory. Bruno launched the 6 style shaved. His feet quickly activated energy on the ground and disappeared without a trace. Then he appeared behind Luffy in an instant, grabbed his arm and threw it out the window. Fly me off this island. Bruno's huge strength made Luffy shoot out like a cannonball and flew directly into the gap in the middle of the Yidong building in the back street of the water capital, and he couldn't pull it out. HMPH, it's finally quiet. Bruno clapped his hands and turned around to deal with the iceberg, only to find that the iceberg hospital was there. D*Amen man. Aboard the Golden Mary. The waves are getting bigger and bigger. The gods of water are coming, master. Let's go back to the capital of water for refuge. As Frankie, who has lived in the water city for many years, he has always remembered this disastrous weather, and human beings' fear of the sea has always been deeply rooted in their bones. Gods of water, what is this? Others were puzzled by this. Frankie looked apprehensive. The gods of water, also known as Acula Ragna, this is a rather large tsunami. Once a year when it visits the 7 islands of water, many buildings on the sea will be destroyed, and the water level will also be lowered. It will rise accordingly. The water city you see now is actually rebuilt on the ruins of the water city back then. The entire island is sinking continuously. Many people are worried that one day the entire water city will sink. However, Luffy hasn't returned yet, and the Mary probably won't be able to enter the city anymore. This ship can't be repaired, so it can only be sent to the shipbreaking yard. Ha ha ha, I'm the best at breaking ships, you just leave it to me. Frankie volunteered. No, the Mary cannot be dismantled. It is still very useful and can be repaired. You have to believe me. The Mary has accompanied us through so many wars. It is our best partner. Are you going to take it away? Does it abandon? Yuvs is the only one in the group who doesn't believe that the Mary is too damaged to be repaired. Maybe he had expected it in his heart. But he just didn't want to believe it and didn't want to wake up from this dream. The others pleaded hard, but Yuvs was unwilling to accept. However, Chiyu didn't have a good look at this long-nosed idiot and directly snorted coldly. You don't want to change the ship, then get out of here, or I'll kill you. I don't need trash like you on my new ship. Wow, the great demon king calmed down. Yuvs is most afraid of Chiyu. Seeing Chiyu getting angry, he quickly hid aside and drew circles. His eyes were extremely sad, but he didn't dare to make a sound. He was really afraid that Chiyu would kill him. At this moment, suddenly there was a sound of breaking the air in the distance. Everyone looked up, only to find 4 figures flying in the sky. In the blink of an eye, they came. Chapter 195, Instant Kill Cp9. One update, please subscribe. Chapter 195, Instant Kill Cp9. One update, please subscribe. Chi-Yu patted Kalifa's thigh while praising her. I can play with this leg for a year. It's really superb. From now on you are my Chi-Yu's woman. No one can take you away. Let go, you pervert. Kalifa really panicked. As a member of Cp9, her strength can be imagined. At this stage, Luffy and others are basically instantly killed by them. But no matter how hard she tries, she can't break free from Chi-Yu's hands. In front of Chi-Yu, she is like facing a mountain, unable to shake a bit. Six forms finger gun. Frustrated and furious, Kalifa poked at Chi-Yu's chest. Boom! With a loud noise, Kalifa felt as if her finger had poked on the hardest steel plate in the world, almost breaking her finger. I don't like violent girls, just stand still. Chi-Yu was hit in the chest, but that kind of force was not even qualified for him to tickle. Let her go. A member of Cp9, Gu made a sudden move. Another vacuum slash was issued from Kagu's legs. This blow to Lan's feet was more powerful than Kalifa. Kagu was originally a master who focused on leg skills. Dazzling Blue's vacuum slashing strike cut through the void and cut across Chi-Yu. If this strike worked, his body would undoubtedly be cut into two sections. At least that's what Kagu thought. They, who are proficient in the 6 styles, have great respect for these 6 skills, and think that all pirates and those capable people in the world cannot compare with them. This is the strongest body art-killing move. Unfortunately, Kagu is doomed to be disappointed. Called. The powerful Lanjao was blown away by Chi-Yu before it reached Chi-Yu's front. You are too weak. Chi-Yu didn't even look at Kagu and punched out again. Click. The two were several meters away, but Kagu was sent flying by an invisible force. Everyone heard a clear clicking sound. That was the sound of Kagu's whole body fractured by Chi-Yu. Hateful. With 2 horns in his hair, Bruce, who is tall and bulky and dressed in black, came out and witnessed the scene in front of him. Seeing that one of his comrades was caught and the other was injured, he was immediately furious. This is provoking the majesty of Cp9. Air opens. Bruno, who took the door fruit, used the ability of the devil fruit to create a door in the air, which was connected to Chi-Yu. 6 forms Lengio, 6 forms, finger gun. After using the devil fruit energy instant transmission to get in front of Chi-Yu, he immediately used the 6 moves on Chi-Yu. However, even the 6 forms that were used with all their strength did not have any effect on Chi-Yu, just like a puff of air hitting a hard solid without any reaction. 6 ways to shave. Seeing this, Bruno used the 6 forms to back off and distance himself from Chi-Yu. It's not bad, use all the moves you have. By the way, use all your strength. Chi-Yu pretended to flick the dust that didn't exist on his body and said in a mocking tone, It seems that you are not a devil fruit user of common. I really underestimated you. Even though the finger that used the finger gun was aching, Bruno still said firmly, Look, I'm going to get serious next time. Bruno squatted down slightly, showing a ready-to-go look. 6 forms shave, 6 forms iron block broken, iron block wheel. After Bruno said this, he went behind Chi-Yu with instant transmission, trying to attack Chi-Yu from behind. Use the 6 moves to make the whole body as hard as an iron block, and on the basis of the hard body, punch with all your strength and hit with the strength of the whole body. Bruno, who was secretly delighted at the success of the sneak attack 1 second, turned into a liver-colored face the next second. Because after hitting, Chi-Yu's body, unspeakable pain came from every part of his body. And the huge force, the resulting interaction, sends Bruno flying upside down spraying blood. Oh, why did you fly out? Didn't you say you wanted to be serious with me? Didn't you want to teach me well? Chi-Yu turned around with a look of disdain and said to Bruno, who was lying in a pool of blood. The onlookers, Kalifa and the others, were so shocked that they couldn't speak, and their mouths were wide open in amazement at what they saw. If there was an opportunistic and weird form to Chi-Yu's simple punch to Kagu just now, now this fight is a testament to Chi-Yu's strength. Bruno's ability is the second among the 4 Cp9, and his strength is second only to Lu Chi. Bruno paired with an iron block is enough to smash a boulder with 1 punch, and the body impact reinforced by iron blocks can smash a hill. This kind of powerful force hit Chi-Yu, but Chi-Yu didn't even move. Suddenly, Bruno, who was attacking him, flew upside down. How could they not be shocked? Okay, you have hit me twice. Shouldn't it be time for me to hit me back? I can't be hit by you all th. Chapter 196 Kalifa and Amp, #039, S request, 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 196 Kalifa and Amp, #039, S request, 2 more, please subscribe. Chi-Yu made a move and killed 2 Cp9 masters in 2 moves. Kalifa was so shocked that she couldn't move. Just when she was about to ask the boss Lu Chi for help, she found that Lu Chi had already disappeared. How come? Kalifa looked at the place where Lu Chi disappeared with a dazed expression. Not only Lu Chi, but also Bruno and Kago, who were seriously injured by Chi-Yu, disappeared. Wow, Frankie's gone too. The Straw Hats also noticed something was wrong. Among them, Frankie also disappeared inexplicably. D*Emenit, that guy in the gentleman's hat just now must have taken Frankie away while we weren't paying attention, Luffy yelled. Cp9 still succeeded, although they suffered heavy losses. 2 of the 4 were seriously injured. Another one was left behind by Chi-Yu. But as their boss, Lu Chi, is the most thoughtful and strongest of the 4. He knew that Chi-Yu was powerful and irresistible. So they searched for an opportunity for 633 to kidnap Frankie. But everyone who was shocked by Chi-Yu's strength didn't notice. What should we do now? Both Frankie and Robin were taken away by them. These 2 are members of our Straw Hat Pirates. We can't just abandon them. Go chasing right away. We want to snatch back our companions. That's right, the Straw Hat Pirates will never leave any of their partners behind. I'm going to give that guy and the gentleman had a good beating. Everyone roared angrily. What a cunning guy. He attacked Frankie while I was picking up girls. He would rather see his 2 companions seriously injured than remain indifferent. This is all planned by him. Chi-Yu looked at the direction where Lu Chi and the others were leaving, with a look of disdain on the corner of his mouth. In fact, he also let them go on purpose. How boring is it to just kill all Cp9 on the spot? Wouldn't it be more interesting to let them fled back to Judicial Island like bereaved dogs, and then forcibly blow up Judicial Island, destroying 10,000 navies at once? Now we're going back to the city, asking Bingshan for a boat, and chasing Cp9. They should be fleeing towards Judicial Island. Let's attack Judicial Island and wipe out all the navy and prisons there. Do you have any opinions? Chi-Yu looked at the crowd and said calmly, Okay, we listen to you. That's the way it should be done. These government spies are abominable. I heard that Judiciary Island is the center of the world government. Many prisoners have been imprisoned and tried. It must be fun for us to make a big fuss. Ms. Robin, whom I admire, is still in the hands of Cp9. As a heroic knight, Sanji should stand up. Frankie is also our companion. He will be our repairman. We must take him back. The Straw Hats kept encouraging each other, and their morale soared. Ever since, a group of people returned to the City of Water, and I, Mr. Bingshan, helped. As in the original show, Iceberg takes them to Karara's secret underground garage, which houses an original sea train called Rocketman. As long as they get on the Rocketman train, they can quickly catch up with the Cp9 members who have left the City of Water on the last sea train. Rocketman on the sea train. The largest and most luxurious carriage, CCDD, was forcibly occupied by Chi-Yu and became his exclusive room. Not only put up the bed, but also got several sofas. Chi-Yu lay on the bed happily and prepared to take a nap. The journey by sea is really boring. If it weren't for these oil bottles, he would have flown to Judiciary Island with flying technique. Boom, boom, boom. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Chi-Yu didn't even need to look to know who was outside the door. Come in. A figure walked in and locked the door with a click. Ms. Kalifa, what can I do for you? Chi-Yu casually leaned on the cushion and said with a smile. Will you kill Lu Chi and the others? Kalifa looked at Chi-Yu nervously and said in a panic. Chi-Yu's tone was indifferent. Of course, these beastards dare to ignore my majesty and take my 2 crew members away. Who will I kill if I don't kill them? Master Chi-Yu, Can you not kill them, although they are very bad, but they are all my companions, if possible, I don't want to see them die. Kalifa has already seen Chi Yu's horror. She and Lu Chi and others have received hard training together. Facing ordinary pirates, even people like Luffy can achieve instant kills. Their Cp9 can be said to be one of the best on the Great Route, but she knows that even if they are 10 times stronger, they will definitely not be Chi Yu's opponent. Man, he is definitely a terrifying character, who can be compared with Shichibukai or even the Four Emperors. Chi Yu didn't know when she appeared in front of Kalifa. You want me to spare them? That depends on your performance. Chapter 197, Arriving at Judicial Island. 3 more, please subscribe. Chapter 197, Arriving at Judicial Island. 3 more, please subscribe. The world government, as the largest organization in the world of One Piece, is undoubtedly powerful. Perhaps it is not powerful enough to ignore all forces at sea, but it is undeniable that if it is really determined to eradicate a certain force, the power it can mobilize is definitely the most powerful in the world. On the sea, the organizations that support the face of the world government are mainly divided into 3. Judiciary Island, the large prison in Pelton, and the symbol of the government's Force Navy commander Lin Fando. These 3 government powerhouses are connected by a huge vortex that has changed shape, and they are located in the first half of the Great Route in a triangle. Only through the Gate of Justice can the 3 parties take the correct current and reach any destination. Moreover, the Door of Justice cannot be bypassed. Because the sea current on both sides of the door is a reverse vortex caused by the vortex, the ship cannot move forward. It's just that this is only under normal means. For some people, its existence itself cannot be explained by common sense. Judiciary Island, because of the geographical environment, has no night and is day all year round, so it is called the island that never sleeps. Established as a world government, this is a veritable court, and as long as they are taken to the island, they must be identified as prisoners. Prisoners will only be escorted through those empty courts, and finally go to the Gate of Justice. And anyone who passes through this gate usually has no return, which symbolizes the absolute justice of the world government. As I said before, there are only 2 places that can be reached after going out to sea from the port of Judiciary Island. One is the Navy headquarters, and the other is to reach the deep sea prison, Propel in Pelton. No mercy will be given to any prisoner here, and they will only be sent to formal judicial organs. Since its establishment, it has never been breached. It's not because of how strong the defense here is, but because of the powerful forces that can break through here, they are basically not interested in this place. After all, compared to Judicial Island, the Navy headquarters has more strategic significance, and those who are relatively weak cannot defeat the Internal Defense Department. Its internal CP organization is really no match for ordinary pirates. About Judiciary Island. The outer layer of Judiciary Island is surrounded by a circle of iron fences. The whole island can be divided into 4 parts, namely the former island, the main island, the Tower of Justice, and the Bridge of Hesitation, and there is also the Gate of Justice behind the island. The former island is mainly the first main gate, and there are a large number of guards stationed there. Pass through the main gate and go straight through a long and narrow passage to reach the second main gate suspended above the waterfall, and you can reach the main island through the second main gate, the front gate of the island. The narrow passage leading to the main island, and the main island is completely suspended above the abyss of the huge waterfall. The main island is basically all kinds of empty courts, and at the end of the main island is the court. There is no road connecting the Judgment House to the Judicial Tower, and there is a huge waterfall abyss between the 2. You can open the suspension bridge through the switches on the top of the towers on both sides of the court, so as to reach the Tower of Justice. The interior of the Tower of Justice is very complicated, like a labyrinth, and there are many secret passages, as well as the offices and conference halls of each member of Cp9. From the Tower of Judiciary to the Bridge of Hesitation, you have to go through the tunnel under the sea. The entrance to the passage is blocked by a huge iron gate, and you can reach the Bridge of Hesitation through the underwater tunnel. The flag of the world government is planted above the Tower of Justice. The Bridge of Hesitation is supported by several pillars. The last section of the bridge is a folding bridge, which usually shrinks and will only open when the prisoner is escorted to the Gate of Justice. The end of the Bridge of Hesitation is the Gate of Justice. The Gate of Justice is located at the back of Judiciary Island. It is a huge iron gate, which is usually tightly closed, and even if it is opened, it is only a small crack. The Gate of Justice is the Gate of Despair, where prisoners will never see the sun once they enter. Through the Gate of Justice, one can reach the Navy headquarters and the deep-sea prison Propel City through the government-specific current. Judiciary Island is connected to the center of the world government, so the number of troops on the island is ver. Chapter 198 Spandam, Demon Slaying Order. For more, please subscribe. Chapter 198 Spandam, Demon Slaying Order. For more, please subscribe. Long time no see, sir. The gate of the Judiciary Tower opened, and Lu Chi walked in with the injured Kagu and Bruno in a panic. Behind them, followed by Robin and Frankie, who were bound by Hilaushi iron chains. You have worked hard, Lutz. Oh, have people brought them back? The demon Nicole Robin, who has been hunted down by the government for 20 years but is still alive and well, and Katie Fram, a disciple of the late master shipbuilder Tom, ha. Cp9 Chief Spandam stood up. 5 years of lurking has finally paid off. He has successfully captured the 2 treasures that the world government needs most. With these 2 people, he is bound to be valued more by the 5 old stars, and promotion and fortune are no problem. Yo, I haven't seen you for 5 years. Lutz, you are getting better and better. On the seat below Spandam, a bearded 157 man stood up and looked at the road provocatively. Strange. Your dog face is becoming more and more disgusting. Lu Chi responded blankly. What are you talking about, weird cat? Jabra growled. Call you a vicious dog, Chi retorted without showing any weakness. D*men, do you want to fight? You are not my match. Don't underestimate people, be starred. Seeing that the quarrel between the 2 was about to turn into a fight, Spandam couldn't help yelling loudly. Arguing as soon as you come back, what does it look like? Lu Chi, what's going on with Kagu and Bruno? Also, Kagu, where did Lifa go? Following Spandam's reminder, other people discovered that Kagu and Bruno were covered in blood, and Bruno was the worst, with one of the horns on his head broken off, and his entire chest was still dripping blood. It looked badly hurt. What happened to Bruno that someone beat him like this? The rest of CP9, Owl, Facebook, and Jebra couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was a bald man who did it, and he only used 1 punch. Kagu, who was also seriously injured, raised his head weakly and said in a trembling voice, "The bald man? Who is that? Could it be the great pirate on the Great Route, or someone from the 7 Martial Seas under the king?" Spandam really couldn't think of what kind of terrifying guy would shoot at their CP. They are just secretly planning the design blueprints of ancient weapons. Few people know about this matter, and it has always been done in secret. Moreover, none of the targets they selected had any big influence. The City of Water's long iceberg and the most powerful boatman in his hand were all CP9 people. Who would actually intervene at such a critical moment? Spandam couldn't figure it out. No, not at all. That is a weird bald man. We can't find out his origin. We all know about the famous pirates in the 4 seas, but we have never heard of such a bald man. He appeared out of nowhere, but his strength is extremely strong. Lu Chi frowned and said in an extremely solemn tone, "Both Bruno and I have shot at him, using all 6 moves, but we can't do anything to him at all. He is not even afraid of Langio and finger guns, and he has never shown the ability of a devil fruit," Kagu said with a trembling voice. Lu Chi smiled wryly. "Although Kagu and Bruno are much weaker than me, even I am not sure of defeating him. In order to avoid mission failure, I chose to take Kagu and the others to retreat. I guess they should come Judiciary Island with the characters of the Straw Hats. They will definitely come back to rescue Robin and Frankie. We should be ready to face the enemy. This time, I will do my best to transform. If I am not the opponent of the bald man, then you should run away." What? Hearing Lu Chi's words, the others were stunned. Even Lu Chi, the strongest player in their CP9, said that he has no certainty of victory. You know, Lu Chi's combat power is as high as 4,000 strong. A Navy soldier with a weapon is only 10 strength. You're not joking, Luz. You know you can't beat that bald man before you even fight. I don't believe that without you saying that, I'd like to fight against him. I don't believe that there will be people that our CP9 can't deal with, those real strong people we can't afford to provoke. But how can this kind of unknown person be so powerful? He must have used the ability of the devil fruit, HMPH. I'm not afraid of him. Jebber didn't believe what they said at all. Lu Chi snorted coldly. HMPH, if you want to die, then go try it. Now go and call the medical staff. Kagu and Bruno need treatment. Besides, Kalifa has been forcibly left behind by that bald man, but it should not be life-threatening because that man is very lecherous. A lecherous bald man, this guy, a thought flashed in Spandam's eyes. According to what Lu Chi said, then he is really a very powerful guy. No, it's best to discuss this matter with the Navy. Chapter 199, The Great War Begins. One more, please subscribe. Chapter 199, The Great War Begins. One more, please subscribe. With the demon slaughter order in hand, even the mightiest pirate team, Spandam, is not afraid. All members of CP9 are here, guarded by 10,000 Navy soldiers, and coupled with the dangerous land of Judiciary Island, the common pirates simply never come back. Spandam was in a good mood. In his opinion, as long as Frankie and Robin were caught, the ancient weapon he had dreamed of was already in his hands. At this time, jingle bell, an annoying phone call interrupted his preparation for a long speech. A-hole, who bothers me at this time, doesn't know I'm busy. Captain, Lord Spandam, I'm very sorry, but someone broke into the front door. What? How many people are there? Spandam suddenly remembered what Lu Chi said just now, and he broke out in a cold sweat. Is there really such a lunatic? Don't they know what it means to attack here? Only one person, but... Be starred, it's just a person, why panic, deal with him calmly. Hearing that there was only one person, Spandam roared angrily and hung up the phone angrily. It's really reckless to break in alone. The guard is really useless. It's just a person, so panic like this, don't they forget that we exist here. On the sofa opposite Spandam, Jebra sneered. I have to say that Spandam is not generally dull, and he didn't think about it. If he was just alone, how could the guard's voice be so urgent? Maybe his talent is limited to politics. However, the guard who was hung up on the phone was in no mood to arrange his boss at this time, and even forgot to call back again. Under the dumbfounded eyes of countless guards, a sea boat pulled by two huge seahorses ruthlessly knocked down the fence around the port and rushed into the port. Boom! A shell landed in the crowd, immediately blowing up the guards who were still standing still, and they all turned their backs, screaming again and again. Brothers kill. As soon as they landed, Frankie's younger brothers and several boatmen from Water City roared out of the boat and rushed towards the guards. D*MN, get rid of them. The guard who came back to his senses was furious, and the two parties strangled together, and there was chaos in front of the gate. Judicial Island, one of the three major structures of the world government, is on the main road outside the court. There are only a few dozen people on the other side. Attack! A lieutenant commander shouted over the radio. Although Judiciary Island is one of the three major institutions of the world government, because it has never been attacked by anyone, most of the naval soldiers here are generally not strong, and some of them are government officials with little combat effectiveness. Mortars are ready. Let the French dog team quickly suppress them. A naval colonel in charge of the team commanded the battle on the scene, so that the straw hats and other rescuers who had no advantage in numbers had to find a place to avoid the shelling. The French dog team can be said to be a relatively powerful regular team on Judicial Island, characterized by riding wolf dogs to attack opponents quickly. Let's encircle them with all our strength. The captain of the Navy commanding on the spot shouted loudly. For the honor of the French island and for our justice, these pirates must not be let go. In their eyes, the Straw Hat Gang actually invaded Judiciary Island alone, and such behavior is enough to be considered not only as a challenge to the entire Navy, but also as a challenge to the world government. From the moment they invade Judicial Island, the Straw Hats will no longer be pure pirate forces, but will be defined as anti-government forces. And there is only one reason for the Straw Hats to invade here, to rescue their partners. Colonel, it's Ouya and Cassie. Although the Navy of Judiciary Island noticed that Titan Ouya and Cassie were rushing over from the front door, they didn't notice that there were other people on the shoulders of the two Titans. These two idiots are finally here. The captain in charge of the command smiled triumphantly. When they caught this Titan pirate 50 years ago, they tricked them into becoming the guards of Judicial Island. They promised to release their boss as long as the two guarded Judicial Island for 100 years. But their boss was not actually captured by the Navy, but in the little garden of Primordial Island. The battle has been going on for 50 years. However, these navies still don't know that their lies have been exposed by Usopp, and their so-called Titan guards have been instigated by the enemy. Great, with the help of the Titans, we can take down these pirates in one fell swoop. The members of the French dog team saw the Titan guards rushing over, and their morale was immediately boosted. Seeing these two Titan. Chapter 200 Luffy and Amp #039 S Father 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 200 Luffy and Amp #039 S Father 2 more, please subscribe. Rocketman sailed all night, and Chi-Yu didn't let Kalifa go, and he didn't sleep all night, but Chi-Yu looked refreshed and had a sense of accomplishment. Stepping out of the Rocketman's sea train, Chi-Yu chuckled while looking at the chaotic battlefield. Is this the Judicial Island? It's a little more spectacular than I imagined. Hey. Behind him came a soft call. Looking back, it turned out to be Kalifa. Being fooled all night by Chi-Yu, who can be called a monster. Even a superhuman like Kalifa with a power of more than 500 can't bear it. At this moment, both of Kalifa's legs are weak, and she can only support the Rocketman's car door. Kalifa, why did you get out of the car? Go back and have a good rest. Chi-Yu showed a trace of tenderness at the corner of his mouth, walked to the car door and hugged Kalifa. Bad guy, put me down quickly, don't touch me. Even though every inch of her skin had been tasted by Chi-Yu, Kalifa still felt very shy. She was somewhat unable to face Chi-Yu. Can't even face other people. As a member of Cp9, they basically don't know how to fall in love, and all of them are heartless and indifferent. But after getting along with her last night, Kalifa became a little attached to Chi-Yu. There is a saying that if you want to marry a woman, you must first marry her. Hey, I've seen you all over. Why don't you let me touch you? You were so effing last night. Chi-Yu hugged Kalifa and smiled evilly. Beastard, you still have the nerve to say it. You are sexually harassing me, Kalifa scolded coquettishly. Chi-Yu domineeringly kissed Kalifa on the pretty face. So what? The woman I Chi-Yu likes, no one can escape my palm, follow me, and I will make you the most powerful woman in the world and the happiest woman, even if you want the stars in the sky, I will help you pick them off. Even if I am against the world government and the whole world, I have nothing to fear. You, Kalifa was speechless by Chi-Yu's rhetoric. Fight against the world government, against the whole world. What a confident man is this? Hey, let me tell you, are you guys tired enough? The other companions have already gone to save Robin and Frankie, but you are still here to flirt with each other. It's too shameless. A familiar female voice sounded behind the two. Turning around, it turned out to be Nami. Seeing outsiders, the shyness on Kalifa's face disappeared immediately. She struggled to stand up from Chi-Yu's arms and looked at Nami expressionlessly. What do we say? It's none of your business. Bad girl, don't think I'll be afraid of you if you hug the big devil's thigh. You government lackeys dare to kidnap Robin and even hurt Mr. Bingshan. It's unforgivable. Nami showed no sign of weakness, fighting back counterattacked. Kalifa snorted coldly. You better pay attention to me when you speak. A weak woman like you can't even block my blow. Nami pulled out the weather stick from behind. Come here if you have the ability, who is afraid of whom? Court death. Enough. Just when the two faced each other face to face and were about to fight, Ye finally spoke out. He looked at the two women speechlessly. You two stupid women, stop arguing with me here. I'm going to be annoyed to death by you. You shut up. Kalifa and Nami suddenly turned their heads and shouted at Chiyu. FK, Chiyu was dumbfounded. These two stinking women are really daring, yelling at themselves. Clapped. Chiyu went up and slapped the two women's buttocks, and in an instant, a soft touch was transmitted to Chiyu's palm. It feels really good, Chiyu smiled smugly. Satyr. Stinking rogue. You are sexually harassing. The two girls screamed loudly. But Chiyu turned a deaf ear to it, and simply forcibly put his arms around the waists of the two girls. Just like visiting a garden, I took the two girls through the main gate of Judiciary Island, where the battle was taking place, and flew directly to the gate of the court with the flying technique. On the other side, with the help of their companions, Luffy and others forcibly broke through to the roof of the court building. It's the Straw Hats. Seeing that the Straw Hat Gang had already stood on the roof of the courthouse, the Cp9 members reported to Spandam in a very flat manner. At this time, all members of Cp9 were present except for Bruno, who had been seriously injured, and Kalifa, who had been taken away by Chiyu, and their good-for-nothing boss Spandam stood by Nico, Robin, and Kalifa. Behind T. French, 1,050,104,222, Feilu 183,340,210. D*MN, how could it be so fast? Didn't those Beastard soldiers just say that there was only one person? When Spandam saw all the Straw Hats standing on the roof of the courthouse, his frightened heart beat a lot faster. If it wasn't for relying on his rig. Chapter 201, Destroying Design Drawings, 1 update, please subscribe. Chapter 201, Destroying Design Drawings, 1 update, please subscribe. Luffy, do you want to do it? After listening to Spandam's nagging, Zoro and others glanced at the flag representing the world government and waited for Luffy's decision. Sure enough, like the original book, Luffy said to Usopp without hesitation, Usopp, knock down that flag. Against the world. As long as there is a rational person, even the 4 emperors would not dare to do such a thing lightly. But maybe the Tiger Father has no dogs. His father spread the idea of overthrowing the world government everywhere and organized anti-government revolutionary forces. As his son, Lu Feiyong blatantly wanted to knock down the flag representing the world government. In short, this family is not afraid of causing trouble, even if the sky is pierced. They don't care. Understood, Usopp took out his new weapon's super slingshot pocket. This is a weapon that uses the free combination of wind shells, flame shells, etc. in the Sky Island, and can change the power of the sniper shooter at will. Killfire Bird Star. A huge firebird flew out from the large slingshot in Usopp's hand, directly penetrated the flag representing the world government, and burned the flag completely. The logo of the flag is extremely important for a force or a group. A dozen pirate groups can even wipe out a town or even a country just because someone trampled on their flag. As 97 is the most powerful organization and force in the world, let alone the significance represented by this flag. From this moment on, the Straw Hat Gang has been included in the list that must be eliminated by the world government, and their actions have trampled on the majesty of the world government. In order to prevent such things from happening in the future, the world government will never let the Straw Hats leave here alive. They did it. The Navy and government personnel, who just came to support from various parts of Judiciary Island, saw the scene where the flag representing the world government was pierced through, and they all couldn't believe their eyes, could not accept the prestige. Don't they know that the flag represents, are you wearing something? You lunatics, you are declaring war on the world government. Seeing the completely burnt flag, Spandam was stunned, lost his previous arrogance, but still issued a warning to the Straw Hats. Be an enemy of the whole world and your end will be death. But Spandam didn't know that his warning was, CCDD, completely meaningless. As long as the world government knew what happened at this moment, the Straw Hats were destined to be included in the elimination list by the world government. Moreover, as the person in charge this time, Spandam's inability to maintain the majesty of the world government will also be regarded as dereliction of duty. However, with Spandam's character and background, he would naturally find a way to shirk responsibility completely. I wish for it. Ignoring Spandam's warning, Luffy shouted to Nicole Robin, "Robin, I haven't heard you say, I want to live yet." All the members of the Straw Hats stood on the roof of the Judiciary Island courthouse, waiting for Nicole Robin's answer. They all know that Nicole Robin has been wanted by the world government since she was a child, and Nicole Robin has used all means to survive in the past 20 years. But this time, she chose to protect her companions and prepared to sacrifice herself, which is absolutely not allowed by the Straw Hats. "I want to live," Nicole Robin, who was already moved, no longer willfully said that she would leave in order to protect everyone. She screamed with tears of emotion, "Take the adventure I started today. Things have developed to this point. No one will not be moved. Nicole Robin is willing to be caught by the world government in order not to hurt the Straw Hats, but the condition is to ask the world government to let them go." But Nicole Robin didn't expect that the Straw Hat Gang broke into Judicial Island, one of the 3 major institutions of the world government, in order to save her, and even smashed through and burned the flag representing the world government. This means that the Straw Hats will be endlessly hunted down by the world government like her from now on, and there is no turning back. It's so touching. Frankie was moved to tears seeing that Nicole Robin had a group of partners who were willing to risk their lives to save her. And during the short time he spent with Nicole Robin, Frankie already knew that Nicole Robin had no intention of resurrecting ancient weapons at all. That is to say, what Mr. Tom and Mr. Bingberg were worried about was no longer will happen. "You should know what this is." After breaking free from the iron chains on her body, Carter French took out an ancient blueprint from her stomach and... Chapter 202 Unlucky Spandam, 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 202 Unlucky Spandam, 2 more, please subscribe. "Let's do it, sir, and get rid of the Straw Hats at once, so as not to worry about the future, and then we will immediately escort Robin to the Navy headquarters. I don't believe these trash dare to go to the Navy headquarters." Lucci folded his hands on his chest and said indifferently, "Leave it to me, I can solve them all by myself." Jebra stepped forward and said with a smirk, "Although the Straw Hats are weak, the bald man among them is truly strong. Don't underestimate them." Lucci glanced around and didn't find Chi-Yu's figure, but he still reminded him solemnly, "Hey, you weird cat is really scared to death. There is no bald man. The more you talk about him, the more I will go to trouble him, and I, Jebra, want to see who he is." Jebra shouted arrogantly. At this moment he glanced suddenly out of the corner of his eye, and this look stunned him. "What? That is." As he exclaimed, Lucci, Kagu, and the others also raised their heads, with expressions of shock on their faces. It turned out that in midair, 3 figures appeared at unknown times. The most eye-catching one is the bald man in the middle. He put his arm around a beautiful woman. One of them is none other than Kalifa. The other one is Nami. This guy can fly? How did he do it? You know, even our $9 can't stay in midair for long. Jebra's eyes almost popped out. HMPH, is it really here? Keep your spirits up. This bald man may be the most terrifying enemy we have encountered since the establishment of CP9. I even doubt that his strength is not much weaker than Chi Wuhai or even the 4 emperors. Lucci said solemnly, "His mind and strength are at the top of CP9, and he is a well-deserved boss, but the appearance of Chi Yu puts a lot of pressure on him, which shows that he is average. But Lucci does not mean that he is not sure. On the contrary, it is precisely because of his strong self-confidence that he feels that he should be able to compete with Chi Yu and win. It's just going to win." This is Lucci's conclusion after comparing strengths. "Kalifa, Nami, you 2 go down first. I still have to watch a good show, and besides, you have to explain to Luffy what Nami I told you that you should pay attention to." Chi-Yu let go of the hands holding Kalifa and Nami. The 2 slowly fell from the sky to the ground. D*MN. Kalifa, did you surrender like these dirty pirates? Seeing Kalifa and Chi-Yu, Spandam on the Tower of Justice shouted angrily, "I'm sorry, sir. I'm not a member of CP9 anymore. so please be more polite to me. Kalifa glanced at Chi-Yu, then said to Spandam expressionlessly, without respect. What are you talking about? How dare you betray Cp9 and I will execute you? Spandam shouted. As soon as he finished speaking, Chi-Yu flicked his fingers, and a Kai blast slashed towards him in an instant. Wow, Spandam let out a scream. I saw that half of his shoulder was neatly cut off. The wound was so smooth that Spandam didn't even react. Then there was a shrill scream, and Spandam rolled on the ground in a miserable state. Help me, let's go. Just when the two groups were stalemate. The drawbridge is lowered. Luffy and the others looked down and saw that the suspension bridge of the court had begun to fall slowly. Obviously, the Frank family has successfully occupied the court's console. It seems they succeeded. Seeing the drawbridge of the court falling, Sanji, who was ready to go to the Judicial Tower to fight, immediately became excited and shouted, Miss Robin, bear with me for a while, I'm here to save you. Seeing the drawbridge of the courthouse falling slowly, Spandam's pale face changed again. D***emenit, they have a lot of people now, what should we do? Luz, you must protect me, you know. If I die, you Cp9 will also be punished by the 5 old stars. Spandam was terrified of dying. But he wanted more credit. After all, other members of Cp9 have to stop the Straw Hats from taking back Nicole, Robin, and Carter French in the Judiciary Tower. And Spandam will not miss this opportunity to perform meritorious deeds. Although Spandam was afraid of meeting the Straw Hats, all members of Cp9 showed joy at this time, and they all wished that the Straw Hats would come to their door. This is a group of militants. Frightened and angry, Spandam kicked Carter French out of the Judicial Tower. Then, under the protection of Rob Lucci, he pressed Nico, Robin, and left. For him, Carter Frankie without the blueprints has no use value, and it is just a dangerous burden to carry around. Asking for flowers, Luffy saw that Carter Frankie fell directly on the suspension bridge, so he didn't try to save him. Anyway, he couldn't fall from this height to kill him, a perverted reformer. Let's go. Without any warning, Luffy spread his arms and hugged all the members of the S. Chapter 203, Launching the Demon Slaughter Order. 3 more, please subscribe. Chapter 203, Launching the Demon Slaughter Order. 3 more, please subscribe. Zoro, I'll leave the one with the long nose to you. Then, Nami arranged for Sauron's opponent to be Kagu, the only swordsman in Cp9. He also reminded Zoro, by the way, he is the #1 swordsman of Cp9. If the development is the same as the original book, Kaku at this time should have eaten the animal devil fruit in the form of a cow fruit giraffe, and his strength is much stronger than when he was in the water capital. Everyone didn't have any doubts about Nami's information, and they blamed all of this on the godlike bald man in the sky. He seems to be omnipotent, and no one knows what he wants to do, but what is certain is that Chi-Yu is definitely not the enemy of the Straw Hats. Nice arrangement. When Zoro heard that Nami actually lined up a swordsman for him with 433, he immediately showed a satisfied smile. Although he likes fighting very much, he hopes that the opponent is a swordsman with certain strength, so that it is interesting to fight. Frankie, you don't have much energy in your body, right? Nami didn't arrange enemies for Carter Frankie, she just made a request to him first and said, if I remember correctly, your energy should be Coke, this is for you. Nami took out 3 bottles of Coke and handed them to Carter French. Carter Frankie's combat energy comes from Coke, and he hasn't replenished any energy since the capital of 7 waters. Before being escorted to Judicial Island, he fought Cp9 twice and had consumed most of his energy. I accept it without hesitation. Carter French, who has 2 experience with Cp9, also knows that it is difficult for him to beat his opponent in his current state, and he must recover his strength to the peak through replenishing energy to be sure enough to win. So Carter French unceremoniously took the Coke from Nami's hand. Now they are all grasshoppers on the same rope, and they need to cooperate with each other to successfully rescue Nicole Lobo. Yuzop, go to the roof and stand by. Nami didn't arrange any opponent for Yuzop, but he handed over the most important sniping work to Yuzop and explained, if Luffy can't rescue Robin in time, only you can do the rest. In CP9, there is no suitable opponent for Usopp at all, and Usopp was also seriously injured before. Instead of letting him risk his life to fight with the enemy, it is better to use his true ability sniper. The reason why Nami arranged this is just in case. As long as Luffy is restrained by Rob Lucci, Spandam will have enough time to take Nico Robin to take the escort ship of Justice Island to pass through Justice Island. The door leaves Judicial Island. In their thinking, whether Luffy can defeat Rob Lucci is only secondary, and saving Nicole Robin is the main thing. This time is their real purpose here. Next, Chef Sanji confronts Jebra. Even Kalifa decides to make a move, enlisting his former colleague Otanashi Owl. Everyone has found their opponent. Only Chiyu is an exception. He originally wanted to sink the entire Judicial Island with one punch, but he suddenly remembered that Spandam still had a golden phone bug in his hand. It was given to him by General Aokiji. As long as the golden phone bug is turned on, a demon-slaying order can be activated. Chiyu really wanted to see the power of the demon-slaying order. If you don't use it, I will force you to use it. There was an evil smile on the corner of Chiyu's mouth. He moved, traveled through the space, and came directly to the Gate of Justice, the end of the Bridge of Hesitation. In front of the Gate of Justice, in the channel of the inner pillars of the Bridge of Hesitation. Hurry up, Spandam, who went up the stairs to the Bridge of Hesitation, urged Nicole Robin roughly. Why are these pirates chasing here? He was really scared. Originally, he was full of confidence in the powerful CP9 members. Even if you can't get rid of all the members of the Straw Hats, at least there is no problem keeping the Straw Hats in the Judiciary Tower. And even if there is such a fish that slipped through the net, it is impossible to know the route he left with Nicole Robin. Besides, the gate of this passage is actually 3 meters thick. In the eyes of Spandam, even if there is a fish that slipped through the net and was not caught by CP9, it still cannot pass through the 3-meter-thick gate. But when Spandam was almost cut in half by Chiyu's finger of Kai Blast, he finally got scared. If it weren't for his luck, it wouldn't be a matter of half an arm. While bleeding, Spandam fled frantically. When Rob Lucci said that there were people coming from behind, he almost peed out of fear on the spot. For his own personal safety, Spandam also left Lucci to stop the enemy. But this is exactly what the militant Rob Lucci wanted. Chapter 204, Summon the Vice Admiral. For more, please subscribe. Chapter 204, Summon the Vice Admiral. For more, please subscribe. The signal sent by the gold phone bug is the signal to launch the demon-slaying order. The demon-slaying order is an armed force composed of 5 vice admirals, 10 high-configuration warships, and thousands of elite naval forces. Once the silver phone bug received the signal, the Navy headquarters would immediately summon 5 vice admirals near the gold phone bug that sent the signal, and bombard the place where the signal was sent with indiscriminate destruction. It's just that even in the Navy, only the Admiral and the 3 admirals of the Navy are qualified to master the gold phone bug with the authority to launch the demon-slaying order. Although Spandam did not have the authority to launch the demon-slaying order, the gold phone bug in his hand was given by Admiral Kingjai, and the purpose is unknown. Hello, sir. Lu Chi's voice came from another common phone bug, but Spandam didn't seem to notice that the phone bug had been connected, and the nervous Spandam didn't hear Lu Chi's voice at all. Oops, activated the gold phone bug. How could I have been so careless? Spandam, who was still holding the phone bug in his hand, shouted to himself in fear. I actually activated the demon-slaying order. Perhaps most of the Navy soldiers don't know what the demon-slaying order is. But as the chief of CP9, everyone including CP9 is very clear about what it means to launch the demon slaughter order. Even if this is the Judicial Island, one of the 3 major institutions of the world government, the demon-slaying order will attack without hesitation. You devil, do you know what you did? Although it was an accident that Spandam launched the demon slaughter order. But it still reminded Nicole Robin of the demon-slaying order launched 20 years ago. Since 20 years ago, Nicole Robin's hometown Ohara has disappeared from the map because of the demon-slaying order. The island of O'Hara cannot be found on the current map. Because Spandam didn't notice at all that the common phone bug in his hand was still on the phone, and it was still connected to the broadcast of the entire Judiciary Island. So afterwards Spandam and Nicole Robin's argument was heard by everyone. The Navy soldiers and common government officials who didn't know what the demon-slaying order was at first were stunned when they learned the truth. They were sure that the voice of the man on the radio was the voice of Spandam, the chief of Cp9, and the arrogant tone was exactly the same. What is even more frustrating is that this arrogant Spandam completely ignored the lives of everyone on Judicial Island and planned to sacrifice everyone here for his own future. All of a sudden, the Navy on Judicial Island lost all morale and fled in all directions. The Frank family and the 3 Carrera boatmen of Bari, who were already at a disadvantage, could no longer hold on. But they didn't expect that the incident would save their lives in a dramatic way. Although they didn't know what the demon slaughter order was, it seemed to be a serious matter. Otherwise, why should the Navy of Judiciary Island be afraid? From the broadcast just now, it can be heard that the demon-slaying order should be the armed force of the Navy, a force that even their own people are afraid of, let alone show mercy to enemies like them. The Great Route, Naval Headquarters, Marine Vandor. Beep, 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 beep. The silver phone bug received the signal. It's General Kingjai who requested to activate the demon-slaying order. In the office of the Navy headquarters in charge of the demon-slaying order, the silver phone bug rang suddenly. This is the first time a signal has been received in 20 years, and it has been confirmed that it was sent with the gold phone bug authority in the hands of General Kingjai. But these are not what they need to care about. Their job is to immediately arrange the armed forces needed for the demon-slaying order to go to the place where the gold phone bug sent the signal. Although their job for the past 20 years has been to guard the silver phone, and perhaps some people who guard the silver phone will never encounter such an opportunity in their lifetime. But when the 10 rings ring, it is time for the responsible persons to start working. Place. The person in charge hastily asked his subordinates to report the location where the gold phone bug sent out the signal. For them, this was a matter of utmost urgency. It's a nice Judiciary Island. The subordinates quickly confirmed that the place where the gold phone bug sent the signal was actually near them, and it was their own territory, Judicial Island. Call the 5 lieutenant generals near the destination immediately. The person in charge hastily offered an invitation, although he was also very puzzled why the place where Th. Chapter 205, The Army Gathers. One update, please subscribe. Chapter 205, The Army Gathers. One update, please subscribe. Because the Naval Headquarters has many vice admirals and naval warships on standby, it is faster and easier to gather 5 lieutenant admirals at the Naval Headquarters than locally. Compared with other places, it is more efficient and powerful. How long will it take to reach the destination? The 5 summoned vice admirals quickly boarded the warships, and after taking over the command of these 10 high-configuration naval warships, they immediately set sail and passed the Justice Road at the Navy headquarters. Door. The target can be bombarded in 30 minutes. The person in charge of the naval headquarters quickly replied. This time is exactly the time it takes for warships to reach their destination through the Gate of Justice using dedicated ocean currents. This also means that 30 minutes later, Judiciary Island Anais will become a hell on Earth. The Great Route, one of the 3 major institutions of the world government, is located at the port of Marine Vanduo, the headquarters of the Navy. 10 warships on standby are ready to go at any time. 10 warships including 10 captains and thousands of meters of naval elite are ready. The 5 vice admirals also boarded the naval warship belatedly, and the person in charge asked again for confirmation. Have the 5 vice admirals not been summoned yet? Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel is on standby. Wearing a light purple striped suit, Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel was already standing on the Navy ship, with his right hand on the saber pinned to his waist. It seems to be recalling the last time he participated in the demon-slaying order. Lieutenant General Huishayashin and Lieutenant General Staloberg request to go. Lieutenant General Huishayashin with a cigar in his mouth and a smile on his face, and Lieutenant General Staloberg with an expressionless face and a high hat. They also quickly boarded the naval warships on standby and took over the supreme command. The three vice admirals, Flying Squirrel, Huishayashin, and Staloberg, were already powerful figures at the level of lieutenant admirals 20 years ago. Of course, he once participated in the demon-slaying order launched against Ohara with Kingjai Zanku, who was still a lieutenant general, and Akinu Sakaski. The difference is that both Kingjai and Akinu have been promoted to the general level 20 years later. And the Admiral Sengoku, who was in charge of launching the demon-slaying order at that time, has now become the Admiral of the Navy for many years. There are two other lieutenant generals. The person in charge saw that the three lieutenant generals who had participated in the demon-slaying order were all ready, and he was also very impressed and thought to himself, "It is worthy of participating in the demon-slaying order naval character. The action is really fast." The rest are Lieutenant General Doberman and Lieutenant General Ghost Spider, and they are also ready. The two lieutenant generals who came later were participating in the demon-slaying order for the first time. But they were not late for long. At most, they were slowed down by the three lieutenant generals of the Flying Squirrel for a few seconds. Set sail. After the 5 lieutenant generals who participated in this demon-slaying order all took over the supreme command of the 10 naval warships, they immediately gave the order to set sail to the respective captains of the 10 naval warships. At the same time, the door of justice on the side of the Marine headquarters, Marin Vandor, has been fully opened. The vortex originally distributed near the Gate of Justice also began to disappear, allowing the 10 naval warships participating in the demon-slaying order to pass through. Notify the control room on Judicial Island and open the Gate of Justice quickly. All 10 warships from the naval headquarters passed through the Gate of Justice. However, the door of justice on Judicial Island can only be opened by the liaison room on the Bridge of Hesitation on Judicial Island. Because the Gate of Justice is very huge, it takes a lot of time to fully open it, and it needs to be ruled in advance. Yes, in order for the 10 warships that launched the Demon Slaughter order to arrive at Judicial Island smoothly, they opened the Gate of Justice on the headquarters side and at the same time notified the Gate of Justice control room on Judicial Island to open the door ahead of time. Ready. After 30 minutes, the bombardment will start after arriving at Judicial Island. The 5 lieutenant generals stood on the deck of the warship, and they would launch the bombardment of their own site Judicial Island in just 30 minutes. Although I feel helpless, the bounden duty of a soldier is to obey orders. Even if they have doubts about this action, they must follow the order to destroy Judd. Chapter 206, The Powerful Lucci, 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 206, The Powerful Lucci, 2 more, please subscribe. Although some naval soldiers and government officials still couldn't accept the fact that the Demon Slaughter order would mercilessly cover up and kill their own people, they still chose to leave with an attitude of believing it or not. Look, the door of justice is actually opened. While escaping, some Navy soldiers and officials found that the door of justice has opened a gap, and the gap is getting wider and wider. With the opening of the Gate of Justice, the nearby whirlpool also began to shrink and then disappeared. How is it possible? I've never heard of such a thing. In the eyes of many people, the door of justice will never be opened unless something special happens, such as escorting Nicole Robin, etc. condition. However, this time, whether it is to escort Nicole Robin or to facilitate the execution of the demon-slaying order on Judicial Island, the door of justice must be opened. It's just that the former will not cause any harm to Judicial Island, while the latter is completely prepared to destroy Judicial Island. Seeing the door of justice slowly open, many naval soldiers and officials were heartbroken, and they shouted in fear. This is to let the warships from the headquarters pass through and launch a 280 order bombardment to kill demons. Run away, Spandam is already planning to sacrifice us. Although they couldn't accept the fact that they were trapped by Spandam, what they had to do now was to save their lives. although they look down on Spandam in private, but he has a background. And this time, even the authority to activate the demon-slaying order, which only the Admiral and the 3 generals have, can get their hands on it. What else can they say to the grassroots personnel? The only thing they can do now is to leave in a warship before the shelling of the demon slaughter order arrives. That beastard, is he willing to sacrifice our lives for his own future? Although many naval soldiers and officials wanted to tear up the beastard Spandam, they were not too angry to get carried away. That idiot, I must kill him. The bridge of hesitation on Judiciary Island, inside the first pillar pier. Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hat Gang, and the ship doctor are fighting against Rob Lucci of Cp9. In order to let Chopper pass here smoothly, Luffy has tried his best to contain Rob Lucci. However, because Rob Lucci's strength completely suppressed Luffy, Chopper was beaten back by Rob Lucci without leaving. Chopper, are you all right? Luffy didn't expect that the 2 of them would be unable to contain Rob Lucci together. The enemy in front of him had 2 strong physical skills. Unlike those enemies who relied on fruit abilities to suppress them in the past, people like Rob Lucci were opponents who could not be defeated by luck. It's okay. Although he suffered some injuries, Chopper tried his best to avoid fatal injuries. Looking at Rob Lucci, who didn't even come out in the form of a beastman, Chopper said helplessly, "But this guy is so strong." Although Chopper didn't want to admit it, the fact that Rob Lucci's strength far exceeded their imagination. In his eyes, Luffy is already a strong and terrifying master, but the current Luffy is not worth mentioning in the hands of Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci's 6-style paper painting can easily evade Luffy's attack, and his 6-style iron block can withstand Luffy's rubber bazooka without moving at all. Even his 6-style shaved and 6-style's moon steps are too fast for people to see. But in order to save Nicole Robin, Chopper must pass here, and Chopper has quietly taken out the Rambo ball in his hand. He knew that even if he ate the Rambo ball, he would not have the strength to fight Rob Lucci, but his purpose, CCDC, was to get out of here. Although it is very dangerous to hand over such a terrifying opponent as Rob Lucci to Luffy alone, isn't each of them working hard to save Nicole Robin? But Rob Lucci's speed is really too fast. Chopper only has one chance. As long as Luffy can barely hold Rob Lucci back even for a second, Chopper can use strengthening of legs to rush forward the doorway to the bridge of hesitation passage. Although the chances are a little slim, it has to be done. Strengthened arm strength carved hoof. After swallowing the Rambo ball, Chopper used his strongest stunt, strengthened arm strength carved hoof, towards Rob Lucci. But it didn't leave the slightest imprint on Rob Lucci's body, and was even sent flying by Rob Lucci. If it wasn't for Chopper's timely use of first strengthening to strengthen his defense, he might have been seriously injured by Rob Lucci. Chopper, let me do it. Seemingly understanding Chopper's intentions, Luffy hit Rob Lucci indiscriminately. Get rid of it, Luffy. Strengthen your legs. While Luffy distracted Rob Lucci's attention, Chopper im. Chapter 207, One Move Kills Instantly. One update, please subscribe. Chapter 207, One Move Kills Instantly. One update, please subscribe. The streets of Judiciary Island suddenly became panicked. Everyone was busy running for their lives, no matter what happened to other people. Both the Navy and the pirates threw away their helmets and fled. D***emenit, run for your life. What are you waiting for now? The door of justice is about to open. A Navy soldier turned his head and looked at the crack in the sky. He dropped his knife. Plop, suddenly being hit. Before he could stand up, there was a burst of crazily stomping, and the soldier lay on the ground and let out a miserable cry. Looking at this group of miserable guys, Chi-Yu couldn't help laughing inwardly. Ha ha, look at your bears. But Chi-Yu didn't intend to leave. He wanted to have a good taste of the so-called Gate of Justice Tilda. But where did Luffy go? Chi-Yu looked for Luffy everywhere, but he didn't see Luffy at all. Alas, this idiot. Isn't it over yet? It's just an enemy, I regard him as an ant. Chi-Yu sneered. It's better to find Luffy, although he knew it in his heart. This door of justice is nothing to him, but Luffy is just a mortal with devil fruit abilities. The Gate of Justice is likely to cost Luffy his life, and he has to run for his life now. Judiciary Island is located in the center of the naval power and world conquest power. If someone comes to arrest people at this time, I am afraid that it will be difficult for Luffy to escape. With him now. Chi-Yu sighed, then smiled. Forget it. After all, you are the protagonist here. I'll take good care of you. After finishing speaking, he slowly went to find Luffy's whereabouts. Chopper returned to his original state and sat limply on the ground. Not only did the strengthening just now not cause any harm to Rob Lucci, but the load on his body from the Rambo ball was too great. Give the body pain. Dressed roughly and looked at Luffy. Luffy, I can't hold on anymore. Chopper looked at Luffy in fear, crying. HMPH, but is it just this little strength? Rob Lucci sneered, looking at Luffy. Obviously, he hadn't used his full strength yet, but the two of them were no longer able to do it. Facing Rob Lucci's crushing strength, Luffy still didn't intend to give up. D***, it's still early, second gear. Luffy squatted on the ground, and with the steam, his body turned into light red. He looked at Rob Lucci with a grim expression. Cut, I didn't get the treasure map, but luckily you're still there. Let me have you, the 100 million bounty. Rob Lucci smiled and put on a fighting stance. Has your body changed? Let me get to know you. After finishing speaking, Lucy disappeared in an instant, and Luffy looked around with all his concentration, looking for the figure of Rob Lucci. Luffy, behind! Chopper yelled at Luffy. Luffy turned around, and sure enough, Lucci was right behind him and punched Luffy hard. Luffy crossed his shoulders block, then dodged back. Lucci sneered, I see how long you can hide. After finishing speaking, he rushed towards Luffy, who was in the air. 6 styles moonstep, Lucci rushed towards Luffy quickly. Chopper stared at Rob Lucci with his eyes wide open and his mouth wide open. It's actually flying in the sky, is this trick again? 6 style finger gun. Rob Lucci stretched out his finger. All the strength of his body was integrated into the finger, and then fired a series of blows like raindrops at Luffy. Luffy didn't have the strength to fight back at all, so he let Rob Lucci hit him as much as he wanted, and finally Luffy couldn't hold it anymore and fell to the ground. Thump. Lying on the ground dressed roughly, he quickly stood up and looked at Rob Lucci with a ferocious look. Lucci? Luffy heard Luffy's shout, and he didn't take Luffy seriously in his heart. I even wonder why such a brat can be offered a reward of 100 million Baileys. It was very chaotic outside. Everyone was shouting hysterically and running away. No one wants to die here because of Spandam's stupidity. Chopper heard the voice outside and felt extremely terrified. But this guy is still so strong, it seems that Luffy is no match at all. Luffy, woohoo, let's run away, the door of justice is about to open. Chopper looked at Luffy, burst into tears, and if he didn't leave, he would really die here. No, I won't go. For Robin, I won't go. D***. Luffy stood up slowly, staring at Lucci viciously. Unharmed, even the clothes on Rob Lucci none were damaged. Asking for flowers. Rubber, machine gun. Luffy stood firm on his legs, and his 2 infinitely stretched fists, like rubber, hit Rob Lucci like bullets. With such a dense attack, it is impossible to avoid it. Rob Lucci smiled. Looking at Luffy, Luffy was already so angry that he was furious, but Lucci was very calm. 6 styles iron block. Luffy's fists all hit Rob Lucci's body. Boom, bow. Chapter 208 Escape. 2 more, please subscribe. Chapter 208 Escape. 2 more, please subscribe. Chopper stared wide-eyed, sitting next to Luffy, staring blankly at the bald man in front of him, opened his mouth to look at him. The whole person was frightened stupid. Obviously just now the opponent that Luffy didn't agree to was actually defeated. This man was easily defeated, and with just one move, it was still inadvertent. But it's not important to say these things now. After all, Rob Lucci has been defeated, and he finally breathes a sigh of relief. Luffy, are you okay? Chopper was next to Luffy, shaking Luffy's body. Chi-Yu slowly took his feet off Lucci's body and walked in front of Luffy. No way, he is also the protagonist of this world. Why is he so weak? Chi-Yu was more or less disappointed, thinking that this guy was facing such a powerful opponent, and he was planning to intervene, but accidentally said, 953, actually beat him to death. Chi-Yu sighed, looked at Luffy with a frown, and kicked Luffy lightly. Hey, you are not dead. Get up if you are not dead. With just one kick, Luffy flew another few meters far. Chopper was terrified at the time. Ah, Luffy. Then hurried to catch up. Hey, Chi-Yu, you idiot, what the hell are you doing? Even Chi-Yu himself was taken aback. Hey, I obviously didn't use any force, I just wanted to wake him up, and, you idiot civet cat, you actually called me an idiot. I'm a reindeer. Chopper hurriedly took out the medical kit, bandaged the wound on Luffy's body, and then gave Luffy the medicine for the wound. After a while, Luffy slowly opened his eyes. Joe, Chopper, are you all right? Luffy looked at Chopper weakly, then quickly cheered up and looked around. Where is Rob Lucci? Luffy shook his head, looking for Lucci everywhere. Finally, he saw Lucci behind Chi-Yu. I saw Lucci lying on the ground, bleeding all over the ground, rolling his eyes, foaming from his mouth, and he was out of breath. What? Solved it. What's going on? Luffy became energetic at that time. Chopper, what's going on? Luffy, it was Chi-Yu who did it. Chopper's voice was trembling. Until now he couldn't believe it. Chi-Yu's strength is so strong. Obviously he didn't hurt Rob Lucci just now. No matter what, Rob Lucci was easily dealt with by Chi-Yu. What? Luffy couldn't believe it. Since he still had consciousness, it was impossible to kill Lucci in such a short time just now. That's right, just one move. The words, just one move, replayed in Luffy's head for a long time. Chi-Yu stood by and didn't speak, just looked around leisurely and whistled. I didn't take this matter to heart at all, and they actually made such a fuss. What's so shocking, Lao Tzu's former opponent was many times stronger than this one. What's your background? Luffy, who is usually a fool, actually has serious moments. Luffy stood up slowly and walked in front of Chi-Yu. He was much shorter than Chi-Yu, so he looked up at Chi-Yu. What do you think? Chi-Yu scratched his head and answered him absent-mindedly, but he was thinking in his heart. It's really troublesome. I wouldn't have helped you if I knew about it. This is my opponent. This guy is really stupid. He didn't appreciate it even though he helped him. But now she complains about Chi-Yu. Okay, your opponent, let you do it yourself next time, okay. Chi-Yu really didn't bother to care about this guy. He was really a muscle. The enemy or something, it is so difficult for him to fight against him, but now he is ashamed to say such a thing. It is an afterthought. Immediately afterwards, Luffy's face changed suddenly. Sure enough, this guy was handsome for only 3 seconds. He was very serious just now, but now a smile appeared immediately. Ahahaha. Lucci drooped his dead fish eyes, ignored Luffy, and turned around to leave. Luffy, Chopper ran up to Luffy and pulled Luffy's fang. Ah, what's the matter, Chopper? Could it be that Luffy has forgotten? There are already a lot of voices outside. The door of justice is about to open, let's run. After finishing speaking, Chobala hurriedly ran away with Luffy. But Chi-Yu always left slowly. Hey, Chi-Yu, run, this place will be destroyed soon. Chopper looked back at Chi-Yu. There was no trace of tension or fear on this guy's face. His eyes were erratic and he looked around, but he didn't take this matter seriously at all. What is the gate of justice? Chi-Yu pinched his nostrils and looked at Chopper. Obviously, Chopper seemed to have been frightened and his whole body was shaking. This is the center of the world government and the Navy headquarters. The demon-slaying order has already started. When the door of justice is opened, this place will be destroyed and there will be no life here. After finishing speaking, Chopper didn't have time to explain so much. The general content is like this. Oh, really? Haha, I really want to see how tear. Chapter 209, you are not qualified yet. One update, please subscribe. Chapter 209, you are not qualified yet. One update, please subscribe. What? There is only one trick. Chopper emphasized the words, one trick, countless times. Zoro and Sanji looked at the Chi-Yu who looked around and looked around without a trace of seriousness. No matter how he looked at it, he didn't look like a strong man. Could it be that the current strong men are all funny comparisons? Are you kidding? Sanji lit a cigarette, looked at Chopper, and couldn't believe that he could defeat the strongest man in Cp9 with just one move. Trust me, it's true. Chopper kept defending, and with the huge vibration on the ground, he stopped explaining and ran away quickly. Hey, can Luffy hold on? Zoro looked at Luffy. Luffy drooped his eyelids. It seemed that he had consumed a lot in the previous battle. No problem, just. Luffy hesitated to speak and smiled awkwardly while clutching his stomach. Just what? Zoro looked at Luffy. I'm hungry. D*MN? What are you kidding at this time? Zoro clenched his fist and punched Luffy hard. In short, run now, the shock just now, I am afraid that 22 will fall here soon. Hurry up, there is food on board. After speaking, Sauron started and ran towards the golden melee, even though the Wanli sunshine was already dilapidated. Sanji stopped in his tracks. Hey, you idiot, it's not this way, it's that way. Sure enough, Zoro, a road idiot, almost took the road astray and Luffy laughed out loud. Then he looked back at Chiyu, who was walking around. Luffy and his group ran towards the Golden Mary. Luffy stood his ground and looked at Chiyu. Hey, Chiyu, let's go. The door of justice is about to open. Chiyu smiled and thought to himself he was hurt like this, and he still cared about others. Wait, you guys go first, I want to know what the door of justice is about. Hearing what Chopper said, and looking at Chiyu in front of him, he must be a strong man, knowing that he couldn't beat him, so he knew to let him stay here. That's good, we'll be waiting for you on board. The Marines were all disintegrated, but none of the Navy's warships and naval troops left, and Luffy was still there. No matter what, we must catch this guy who caused the Judiciary Island to fall into chaos. A pirate worth 100 million bounties. More than a dozen naval warships stayed at sea. Lieutenant General Mole stood on the ship and looked at the fleeing Navy soldiers who were routed. He felt very upset. But there is no way, they are already in a state of madness. They just want to escape for their lives, and they don't care about the so-called Bolshti naval honors. The warship stays at sea. Lieutenant General Mole looked at the city of Judiciary Island, and sure enough, he saw Luffy and his gang running towards the Golden Mary. Vice Admiral Mole, I'm going to meet them. A voice came from behind Lieutenant General Mole, and when Mole turned his head, it turned out to be Colonel Xiu En of the Navy headquarters. Hi, be careful. Xiu En ignored him and got off the boat directly. Luffy's group was running towards the Golden Mary when they were stopped by a masked figure wearing white gloves, blocked their way. You are Straw Hat Luffy. Xiu En blocked their way, standing in front of Luffy and stopped Luffy. That's right, then who are you? Luffy's expression was flat, and he didn't feel any sense of crisis at all. The masked man smiled. That's you, take your life. After speaking, the masked man kicked towards Luffy. Before Luffy could touch him, Sauron blocked Xiu En's attack first. Xiu En jumped back and looked at Sauron in a stance. Who are you? I didn't come to find you, but you have to die, I think it's not your turn yet. Sauron raised the corners of his mouth upwards, looked at Xiu En with an extremely proud expression. I am the man who will become the world's #1 swordsman. Luffy stood behind, smiling. Sauron is over to you. Luffy, leave this to me, you guys go. Standing in front of Xiu En, Sauron drew out his own sword, holding one in each hand, the demon sword Kitaru and the famous sword Yuki. Come on, let me be your opponent. After speaking, Sauron stepped forward to slash at Xiu En, but Xiu En kept dodging. Sauron smiled. There are 2 tricks. Xiu En snorted coldly, stood up slowly, and looked at Sauron, the world's greatest swordsman. It's up to you. Xiu En sneered, Sauron's face changed, and his eyes widened. What did you say? After finishing speaking, he rushed towards Xiu En. I've seen such a pirate Xiu En a lot, but it's just a superficial appearance. Xiu En calmly took off the gloves on his hands, and his hands exuded this rusty breath. Sauron held Xiu and chopped at Xiu En's head. But he was caught by Xiu En with one hand, and then something that surprised Sauron happened. Xiu was instantly reduced to ashes. Zoro quickly backed in.
All right, legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.